Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
So I don't know if anybody can see me at the moment. We'll give it a second here to catch up. And still not there. Maybe you can hear me, but you can't. No, you can't see me. Well, welcome back, everyone, to the Maverick News Channel. Sorry about the computer lag, and I think I my co-host in the digital haze there, but we have a lot to share with you tonight. It's freezing up here, though. So David Alott, the big donor, is going to join us shortly this evening to talk a little bit about that and a little bit about maybe moving to the United States. I'm not sure. We'll see. Have to see where the conversation goes. And I think we might be joined shortly by Sandro Presta, who is also with The Bridge, that company that we told you about last night, that is also offering the service to Canadians who are looking to move to Texas. And of course, that's a relevant conversation right now, especially with all the discussion surrounding Alberta independence, Canada's the 51st state, and just more broadly, concerns about the Canadian economy, the state of our country socially, the culture wars, community safety, and just a lot of other issues that a lot of Canadians, especially on the conservative side, I would say, are very worried about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run our usual transition here before we start getting into the meat of the matters tonight. And I will shut a few things down on this old computer to free up some memory to hopefully avoid more freezing. I will see you right after this.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, defending free speech, Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, back by popular demand. Angie Clowry.
I don't know about popular demand.
You're pretty popular around here. I think I'm going to lose my job. You becoming such a regular around here that you're like my co-host, but I'm feeling very threatened. Could lose my gig. I have to give up my chair. You'll have to come here to my mom's basement and and start hosting the show. No, thank you for coming back. I thought maybe we're going to be done with this whole crazy ostrich story, but there's a little bit more maybe to tell tonight. I'm not sure where it's going to go. but there's a little bit more information that I think David Alot wants to share personally. So he is supposed to come back probably just about any time now to join us. And and then I don't know what's going to happen with Mr. Presta, I think his name is, from The Bridge. I lined him up yesterday or the day before for an interview tonight, and then this other stuff was added in later. So we'll see if he materializes in cyber world here. So what are your thoughts as we start to prepare for tonight's interviews?
Well, it's interesting because I think you and I both, we were literally just talking about media, how that works, and how the social media influence has changed things. And I think it aligns with kind of where we're headed tonight in regards to having podcasters and social media influencers encouraging people to think Canada is broken. And I'm not saying it's perfect by any stretch of the means, whether you're left, right, or center, we can always use change. And I think where it is for me is I have some concerns that people are purposely trying to destroy it now.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we're going to, we'll get into a bit of that. And I mean, everybody here knows that I personally, at certain points in my life, have considered moving to Texas because of the weather. I'm not thrilled with the snow here and just a lot of other reasons. It never happened. And I'm in many ways glad that I didn't, because I'm here with my family and still here with my dad. So those are personal things, but, and my mom. I didn't mean to forget you, Mom. I'm still in your basement.
You're not going to get lunch or dinner tonight if you don't, or tomorrow if you don't acknowledge it.
Okay, I've already eaten. I won't starve till tomorrow. So it's all good.
So we should just touch on that. You're there helping your parents, right? Your dad had surgery. You've been there for a month. That's why you're living in your parents' basement and broadcasting from it.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of social media, it's so nasty. The rumors that are out there are just unfreaking believable because I'm here. I'm not going to tell you the crap that people are saying about me, about me being in my mom's basement. It's off the charts, man.
I think it's really interesting because when people can hide by fake names, fake pictures, and fake profiles, like I realize some people need to, perhaps they've been doxxed before, perhaps they are not wanting to have anything to do with, some abuse in their life, acknowledge that, honor that, absolutely. But when people hide behind a name, a face, and then are just so freaking unkind, like I just always wonder, what is that about, right? Like, how is your self-care and your mental health?
How's my mental health? Are you asking me?
Yeah, how is your mental health? Hey, let's talk. What do you do for self-care? That's a great topic.
Yeah, well, that's another show. We shouldn't keep our guest waiting. He is in the back room now. So
perfect.
Let's bring David in. There he is. Welcome.
What's going on, guys? It's good to see you again. Hey, Angie.
Yeah, is that your mom's basement?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just doing some IT for her tonight.
Are you going to play us a tune on your guitar tonight?
Oh, I mean, do you want to hear one?
Let's open the show that way.
Always.
Yeah, let's do that.
Love.
Okay, let me tune it up. Let me see.
All right. That's the first song of the evening. Tuning.
Tune-y.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. Oh, that's not good. How's the audio?
It sounds actually really good.
All right, I think we'll be okay. Play a tune, he says. Geez, I don't know. Maybe we'll play a tune about the show. Maybe we'll just come up with a tune about the show. What do you think?
An original.
Make a
Just
jingle
an
for the
improv.
show.
We'll just do an improv. Well, we're chilling in the lobby with Angie and Rick. I hope that we don't get talking till we're sick. We got a few topics that we know are going on. We've all been so sick of this ostrich farm, but we gonna have to come with the facts and the data. Everyone knows that Rick's a hell of a debater. But the topic tonight's got nothing to do with birds at all.
Or flu.
Or the flu, because you know that topic last night, it did stall. Oh!
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
My mom, my liberal mom taught me how to play. My hippie liberal mom taught me how to do it.
I love that.
She was a songwriter. She plays in old folks' homes now. That's her life. She goes and she plays. Her deal is any song from like the 1940s, 30s, and 40s. If someone makes a request, she can do it. I think her repertoire is probably like 1,000 songs or something. Like yeah.
Good for
I bought
her.
this
What an
guitar for
actress.
$100 actually. This is a $100 guitar. Not bad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Did you watch last night's program?
Yeah, pretty much the whole thing. I watched about 10:15 Eastern or so. I did my best. I stuck through it as best as I could. You must have had your captain's hat on because that took a hell of a navigation. There's actually people in the comments being like, "I hope it's not a disaster like last night." I'm like, Rick. I'm like, yeah,
Well, I can say it's starting off a lot better, as a matter of fact.
You actually want me to open it up with a tune? Okay. We're talking about the Canada is fleeing for Texas or something like that, right? That's what.
Yeah, that was supposed to be the topic for tonight, anyway.
Well, I mean, if you want, I can apologize to your audience for telling a bunch of lies and saying, I was the main instigator of the farm and everything's my fault, and I donated about $40,000, whatever you want to do. But I just want to get the farm behind me. I'm so sick of talking about that place. But yeah, my fault. I did it. Anyone who's got a logic complaint can send it to my email, davesanostrichbastard@gmail.com. We'll get to you as soon as we can. Yeah.
I don't know. Some of those people at the farm are going to be pissed at you for just saying what you said. Oh my God! Now you're an ostrich hater, just like me.
I love the ostriches. I just, you know what? It's so hard to hate on farmers because it's like we were saying, farmers, they work so hard, and it's like they get a pass. You get an immediate pass. When you find out a farmer's an asshole, it's like finding out Santa Claus isn't real. As an adult. So yeah, I don't know. Okay, we'll do a tune to open it up. That sounds good. Okay. We'll do a tune. Yeah, we'll do a tune. Sounds good. 6:19 or 7:19. Probably time to rock and roll here. You got a lot of action in the comments tonight.
Oh, that's the haters channel.
The Rumble?
No, Rumble. No, I thought you were looking at the other channel. No, Rumble's okay.
Oh, which channel's the haters channel?
The Twitch channel. You go over there, and it's all haters of Rick Walker. Go to the Twitch channel.
We should just name mention that, Rick. So you're on Twitch, you're on YouTube, you're on Rumble.
Yeah, we're back on Winkin tonight too, after some changes that they made over there. So tonight's the first night back. Hello, people over on Winkin. All of our Maverick family over there too. Yeah.
So technically, I have to acknowledge this. You're on TikTok too. So my friend Sandra's on there watching it. We got Rob, Julie, Woods. Who else do we have? Curiosity. All of these fake names. Lori, Nicole.
No, it's too much.
It's all fake.
That's a little on the nose, right? It's a little on the nose. I'll play riffs whenever you hit a punchline. Every time you give a good punchline, we'll do a little riff for you.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. I was doing guitar comedy the other night, stand up, and the owner of the club went up and did a set, and he demanded that I played guitar while he was doing his set, and that I had to do riffs every time he gave a punchline. So You know, that was kind of funny. But yeah, so yeah.
What's your all-time favorite song to play, Dave? Is it David or Dave?
David's fine. Probably Wonderwall. Yeah, probably Wonderwall. I could play the first verse. Yeah. Yeah, we can do that one time. Yeah. Yep. Today is gonna be the day that you move on down to Texas. I know. I'm just kidding. I'm just messing with you. Come on. I'm messing with you. Yeah, we won't do that. Favorite song of all time? I would say the Edmund Fitzgerald. That's
a very Canadian tune.
Yeah, I would say the Edmund Fitzgerald, or actually, no, the Good Old Hockey Game. I would say the Good Old Hockey Game is probably the all-time fave. Stompin' Tom Connors or Canada. That's a good one. You know that one by Stompin' Tom? Canada. Can you tell me what's a Douglas fir? Canada. But you never heard.
Actually, I can't remember all the lyrics. I remember the song, but I can't.
You remember the song, though, right? I'd say the Good Old Hockey Game is the best.
Best game you can play.
I think that's the best. I think that's my favorite song of all time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'd say that's the best one of all time. Yeah.
So are we doing this? Are you going to play the song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the plan?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. Let her rip.
Sure.
If you're ready.
Like right now?
Right now.
Are we live right now?
Yeah. Yeah. I thought you knew.
No, I had no freaking idea.
Oh, wow.
I had no idea. I thought we were waiting to start the show.
No, well, you are the show, man.
Oh shit, dude. You gotta be kidding me. I thought we were sitting in a lobby. I'm
no, it's like we went live at 7. We've been sitting here filling.
Oh my god! So I did say that live about the farm. Well, sorry, Universal
you.
Ostrich, you scammed the shit out of me, and yeah, we ain't friends anymore. So you can take all the money you scammed me out of that you didn't spend on food, and you can give it to the poor lady that you punched in the face and tried to set her house on fire. How about that? And then maybe give it to the fire department. Yeah. Yeah, screw those guys, man. Okay. I had no idea we were live right now. My bad. I had no idea.
We didn't have to do the interview. It's just like it's all right there.
I had no idea, man. Here I'm okay. Whoops.
Okay.
Do a song, he says. Geez, what am I? Your jester? Okay, we'll do a song. You guys ready? Holy crap. All right, here we go.
Yeah, thousands of
okay, here we go.
People are waiting.
Well, I was looking at myself. I was staring in the mirror. I looked at Lady Canada and I started to fear her. I was only 21. I was a dad and married. I looked at my wife. Her name was Charity. And I decided that I was sick of being in debt. And I decided that I would let go of my head. I got invited to move down to the South United States. I looked at the money and baby, I couldn't wait. Oh no. Well, the very first thing that caught my glance was that finally I would have my first chance. I got to buy a house. It was over 2,400 square feet, and it only cost me $220. But then I realized property tax was gonna be pretty high. Because that was a matter of fact, because in the United States, you don't have to pay income tax if you live in Alaska, Florida, or a few other. That's a fact. Oh, yeah. How about that for improv? Yeah?
Well,
no, I didn't think you liked that one at all, did you?
No, actually, like, very, very creative and on the spot.
I don't know.
So that's great improvisation.
Well, holy goodness, sorry about that, man. I had no idea we were live, but that's.
Oh well, I'm sorry that you weren't aware. I don't like to surprise people like that.
That's okay.
Yeah, we were live before you ever got here.
Damn, dude. Yeah, I guess embarrassing myself is kind of my thing lately. That's sort of what I do on your show.
No, not at all. I think people love that.
So yeah, so how you guys been? Good? Everything good?
Yeah. Well, since last night.
Yeah.
See, people are in the chat on Rumble. You're probably looking over there. Tarface
just started
says,
to.
awesome,
Yeah.
he says.
Okay. Yeah. Sweet. Well, no, you don't. Someone's saying, yeah, you pay taxes in the USA, but in like Texas, Florida, Alaska, I think Washington State, there's no income tax. So you don't pay any state income tax in those states. You pay a consumption tax. I think in Texas it's like 6.25% if you're in the rural community. If you live in a city, you pay 8.25% for the privilege of living in a city, and then you pay really high property tax. And that's why you kind of see communities, poor communities with low funding in schools and more affluent communities with lots of funding in schools, because the community you choose to live in will charge you taxes proportional to the lifestyle you want. And that's really, I think, kind of a big thing, is that in the United States, you get to choose the lifestyle you want. And in Canada, you're kind of, you depending where you live, there's a bit of variety there, but not everyone wants to live in Alberta, so I mean, to pay low taxes and have a lower cost of living. But that's kind of what the United States offers people, is an opportunity to live in the community you want to live in and live the lifestyle you want to live.
Well, you have to live. Some people have to live in a community that they can afford to live in. I mean, that's a reality
for
too.
the time being. Yeah, for the time being. But like, let's say you want to live in a community that's got, a $50 million football stadium, but you can only afford right now to live in a community that, has a soccer field. The United States is going to offer you the opportunity to keep your money in your pocket. And then whether you live in an $80,000 house, I drove by a house on the highway today. It was $69,000. That's how much the home was. 69 grand, 25 minutes out of Houston, $69,000. It was a single wide, but it was a home. But yeah, I mean the I don't know what you'd call it, the social ladder in the States, you can start from the bottom, you climb to the top. But I think in Canada, the social ladder starts, 6 feet off the ground, and most of us are just kind of trying to hang on there, and just, if we can even hold on to the ladder and not become homeless in a tent city, we're pretty happy about it.
What do you mean by that?
So what I mean by that is,
what do you mean?
Yeah, so what I mean by that is, like, in Canada, when it was 2008, I got my first like real corporate job, and I was making like $2,500 a month. I actually went and sat down, and they said, "What do you need to survive?" That was the interview question for the salary. What do you need to survive, right? Like, how can I pay you as little as possible? Now, it was a sales job, so there's commissions attached, but as a base salary, that's what I was asked, and it was $2,500 a month, plus bonus. And for me, it was like, I was shocked. I just couldn't believe that I'd be able to earn that kind of a base plus commission. And in Canada, it's like there's just such a gap between being able to get on the social ladder, where you can continually build wealth and eventually own a home and have as many kids as you want to have, and grow and do charity work and do ministry work, that just to get on the ladder is such a jump, and it's just out of reach for so many people. It's completely out of reach. Like, I've got friends who are in their 30s. There's just no way. They're never going to be able to afford to have kids. They want to have kids, but they can't. They're never going to own a home at this rate. And so getting on the ladder is impossible for them. It's just out of reach. And so
I have to disagree. I mean, I think it may appear that way right now, but we've been through these cycles before. 2008, the economy took a beating, and Canada suffered, but that was really the classic example of the United States suffering an economic downturn, and in Canada, they get a cold, we get the flu, as the old saying. But I remember the 70s, and I remember other economic downturns, booms and busts, and including the housing market, and things over time correct. The markets, that's because Canada it's a market economy, even in real estate, and it depends on the community you're in as well, whether you can afford a home. So when I'm not living here, when I'm in my hometown of Chatham, for instance, you can get a house there for 200, 250. And there are homes also where you can get them for even far less than that. And there are fixer-uppers and flippers. And I think the average home price in my town is about right now $380,000. It's not like
That's
all
in
$1 million
Chatham, Ontario?
homes. What's that?
That's in Ontario, Chatham, Ontario.
Yeah.
Are there like jobs in that area? Can you get like is there like a factory job you can get and get your?
Yeah, there are jobs. We've taken some hits over the last 10, 15 years. The Navistar plant is shutting down. A lot of people will commute. There's a lot of agricultural work. There are actually some growing tech jobs there. They're attracting for the entry level stuff or mid level stuff. They're like call centers coming in. So they're trying to bring in some tech work. There's food processing, different kinds of industries. It's not as robust as it was, say, in the 80s and 90s when there was auto manufacturing more there, but there's tool and die still there that ramps up, and there's more work there because a lot of that stuff goes to the States, to the oil and gas and the aerospace industry. And that's up in part of the community called Wallaceburg. And then if you go down toward Windsor too, there's a big mold making industry there, auto parts, a lot of tool and die down there too. So there's still a lot of manufacturing that goes on. So it's kind of diversified over the last few years. So there's stuff going on, a lot of greenhouses going up and industries like that. And then so the real estate, I mean, I haven't purchased a home lately. The prices have gone up, but it's still an affordable community to live in. And I know that
you're talking one community though, right? I mean,
no,
no.
Million
communities available.
No, because all through the Southern Ontario area, if you go to like Sarnia, if you go down to even Windsor, like the prices are higher there because it's a bit bigger of a city.
Okay.
And and then you come up here to London, the prices, I'm not sure what they're like here. I haven't really checked, but all through Southern Ontario, there are actually like really great quality of life. You're only an hour from the Detroit border. You've got the lakes there. You have access to jobs, the 401, transportation, Lake St. Clair on the other side, Mitchell's Bay, which some people say it's the world's greatest pickerel fishing up there. And so there's a lot of positives to living there. It's a sort of a mid-sized city proper, about 50,000 people. The extended municipal area about 100,000, and the the other advantages are that you don't have much traffic. Rush hour lasts about 15 minutes. but it has everything you need, and if you want more, it's so close to Detroit, you can head down to the border and go to a Tigers game and come back the same night. So it ain't that bad. It's actually it's actually a nice place.
I mean, if you look at a house that you can get in Chatham, Ontario, for $284,000, you're talking 1,100 square foot, 1 bathroom, 3 bedroom house. $284,000 in the United States will buy you, Texas, Florida, buy you a 2,000 plus square foot house, 3 bedroom, 3 bath. I mean, you say you can build a life in Chatham, Ontario, buy a home, work in industry, but I mean, this is the problem I think that we have, is that people are leaving the United States because the life that's offered them in Canada right now is not worth it. It's not what people want. It's not what my generation wants. Gen Z.
Well, it may not be what you want,
right?
Or some of the people
I guarantee you, my generation wants nothing to do with it. We want Gen Z and millennials.
Well, that's
not what we want.
Broad statement. Yeah, and actually, we should probably backtrack because we're digging into this. Okay.
Sure. And
sort of without the pre-story and how we kind of got here too, right?
Go ahead. Yeah.
I did reach out, as I think I told you, that to Sandro Presta.
Sandro, the
bridge.
Yeah.
Which is why
bridge.
we really were focusing on this subject matter tonight. So I thought he was going to join us.
www.move2theusa.com.
Yeah.
Move2theusa.com. Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason I was interested in talking about this is one, well, I came across your link on your Facebook page. I've thought of moving to Texas myself because I have to agree that there are a lot of great things about moving to Texas, right? And I've looked at that over the years, a couple of times.
And you have experience there. You've got some experience down there too, right?
Mhm.
So
yeah. I love Texas. I think it's a great place.
Austin would be perfect for you, man. That's the most liberal city in the South, Austin. You'd love it in Austin.
No, I would not move to Austin. And that's because
just saying, if you want to be birds of a feather, it'd be a good spot for you, you know. All the friends.
Well, that just shows that you really don't understand my politics. I've been to Austin briefly, a couple of times, and I
you know their
like
slogan is "Keep Austin Weird."
Yeah, it's
keep Austin.
I do not fit in Austin.
She got my jokes. She got my jokes.
Yeah,
you fit like a square peg in a round hole down there, probably. You know.
Okay. So you're being sarcastic.
Yeah, you see the big grin on my
All
face?
right,
Yeah. I'm trying to give
I'm
you.
taking you literally. That's cool.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Because a lot of people around me think I'm like, well, the opposite of that, right? And then people on the other side, I'm getting it all. One day I'm a communist to this guy, and the next day I'm, carrying.
I think a lot of people remember you from the Freedom Convoy. Is kind of like that's where a lot of the content creators sort of got a spike, right? I think that's where a lot of people remember you from, is the Freedom Convoy.
Yeah. So I'm not easy to peg. For some people,
well,
but it's not. This isn't about.
Depends who's doing the pegging, I guess.
Yeah. It depends on how they view
things. Depends on the size of the peg.
Yeah. Well, if they're
the friction.
If all I have to do is say one thing, and then suddenly I'm like the political enemy, right?
What color is your peg, by the way? Like what like are you like a rainbow, or are you like are you dark, are you light? What's back to Sandro. Back to Sandro. We were getting dark there for a minute. Back to Sandro and the bridge.
Yeah.
So the guy's heavily marketing, rapidly distributing to Canadians. Anybody with a trade, anybody with skill sets, anybody with money that can buy a business, trying to fast track Canadians. Drain. You talk about brain drain. Trying to get that done, and he's made a business model out of it.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that? What do you think about a business model designed to pull talent, people, and pull Canadians out of Canada? What do you think about that?
Well, it's not. Again, it's to just kind of back up a little bit. The reason I got focused on it is because I saw it on your social media page. And so I'll show you. And this is actually an answer to that very question, if I can bring it up here.
Right. Oh, you can screen share?
Oh, yeah.
You're pretty techie for a Luddite, for a hermit. You're pretty techie for a hermit, maybe. I don't know.
A hermit.
Well, you don't really get out too much, right? I mean, you spend all your time researching facts and data, and do you get out much? I feel like you're busy. I feel like you're too busy to run around, I don't know. Maybe
I get out a little bit. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't think I'm a Luddite.
I don't even know what a Luddite is, man. I just said the word. I don't know what that is.
You don't know what a Luddite is?
I find sometimes if you say big words, sometimes they work and people think you're smart. But if you just got to remember the word. I don't know. I think a Luddite's like an Amish person. I don't know.
No, a Luddite is somebody who, it was a group of people who were opposed to technological innovation, and they don't like technological change, so they resist it. That's what a Luddite is.
Yeah, I don't think you're a Luddite. I don't know.
No,
I'll take that back. See, yeah. I say things I don't understand all the time now. I apologize sincerely. So where are you going with this on the website? You got the bridge pulled up here, or what's?
Yeah, I was if I can find the damn thing. Here it is. Anyway, okay, so it doesn't. Yeah, you know what?
I got it here. I got it
Yeah.
right here, man.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
I
you
got
can
it.
bring
I
it
got
up
it
if
right
you
here.
want.
Here you go. All
Oh,
right.
you know what?
Triple
Sandro
W.
is I didn't see him sitting there in the back,
Come on here.
but he's joining us now.
Is
Here
he?
he is.
Okay.
Hello, welcome, sir.
Hey.
Hey,
There's a
how are
man
you?
right there.
How's it going?
Good. So I don't know if you were aware. Maybe you've been talking to people. I don't know, but I know that you know David.
Yeah.
Or at least you've met him from.
I've met him. Yeah.
Yeah. So, because you mentioned that in our conversation, and this is my new regular co-host, and
Hi, nice to meet
soon
you.
to take my gig, Angie Clowry.
Hello.
And this is Sandro from the Bridge, and thank
Yep.
you for joining us on the program.
I only have a little bit of time. I have some guests over for dinner tonight. I thought it was supposed to be for 7 o'clock Central. I didn't realize it was for 6 o'clock and then 7 o'clock Eastern because we're an hour behind over here.
Right. Okay.
I think I've got the website pulled up here, Rick. I'm just not sure. Is it?
Yeah, actually, I've got the website here now too.
I do. Okay.
So I can bring it up.
It says I'm sharing, but I don't see it anywhere.
I probably have to put it up for you. There it is. Okay, so there's your website.
Correct.
And you're a big fan of this website, right? Or did I just delete it? Was that my problem?
Yeah,
Are
you
you
took it
sharing
down.
it or am I sharing it?
I put it up on the screen. But
okay, here we go. We got it now.
Took it down.
We got it now. There we go.
Yeah.
And Rick's a huge fan of this website. Huge fan. Look at the cooperation between America and Canada happening here. Hey,
I'm all in favor of that. Cooperation, trade.
So what?
Yeah.
So what did you see on this website, Rick? What do you know about the bridge? What is this company doing?
He's
From
a
your
good interviewer. This is one of those rare occasions where I get interviewed by the guest.
Well, we're just talking. But you're a study. You're a quick study, and you do research. So what is the bridge doing?
Well, look. I mean, as I said to Sandro, it piqued my interest for a couple of reasons, David. It's because we were doing this crazy ostrich stuff, because I was just doing the background research, and you had donated so much money to the farm. I just went to your Facebook page to find out what you're about, who you are, right? And then as I was scrolling down, I came across the link to the bridge. And so that honestly, it concerned me to a degree, because we've seen so much U.S. influence politically in that protest out at the farm, because we've had RFK Jr. out there, Dr. Oz, we've had, and they're trying to assert U.S. political influence on that protest. What's that?
We haven't had them out there, but they did.
No, but they were writing letters, and there were public statements and interviews, and Katie from the farm actually produced lives where she was appealing directly to the president, asking him to intervene. You had John Katzimatidis, billionaire out of New York, getting involved, talking, giving a profile on WABC radio out of New York. He's a major contributor, donator to the MAGA movement, huge supporter of Trump. He owns a grocery store chain. He's the biggest purchaser of Alberta oil. And this is a highly politicized time. It's absolutely a political protest out there. And there have been a lot of concerns about foreign influence from various countries, including the United States and Canada. And with all the 51st state rhetoric, it has everybody's radar on, right? And so very concerned about that. And I've been reporting on that as an aspect of the ostrich story. And so when I came across this, because we've had so many donors, donors mentioned, and U.S. money flowing into the protest, of course, I'm going to take a look at it, right? So that just got my radar up. But more on the other side of that, I personally have an interest in it because, as I've mentioned, I've personally thought of moving to Texas myself for a lot of the same reasons that you just highlighted: the economy,
the weather. Say, come on.
Yeah.
As we would say, come on. We'll welcome you with open arms.
Yeah. To the point where I even went down there at one point, and I was looking for work, and I did a joint venture with a television station in Texas. So I'm, somewhat familiar with the state. I've been down there with my automotive television program, which I self-syndicated, covering automotive events, car shows, things like that. So, and I really like Texas. It's a great state. So I have a personal interest in what's going on, and what the bridge, of course, is doing. And I'll let you guys kind of explain it. Is you're providing a service to streamline the process for people who want to move to the U.S., specifically, I think, mainly to places like Texas, where they are looking right now to scoop up talent, skilled trades, which I
It's
think
more
they
than
need in
that.
the state, right? And sorry, go ahead, Sandra. Yeah.
Sorry, it's more than that. It's more than just tradesmen. We facilitate for all types of sectors and all types of people that are trying to come down here. The amount of different demographics that are coming down that we've come encounter with is that they are just they can't survive up there anymore. A lot of them, even we have clients that are even multimillionaires that just are sick and tired of the political landscape and lack of growth of their money not being able to move the way it is down here. They are just tired of the constant Canadian propaganda on how Canada is superior to everybody else. No matter what, just listen to us. It doesn't matter the monopoly that's been put in place. And we just hear a lot of people. We've had people cry to us that they want to leave, and we try to help them as much as possible to build a path for them somehow. But if we can't build a path or find a right path for people, we are very transparent. We're ethically based. We will tell them that we cannot move forward. And it's sad to us that we can't help them at that point.
Yeah,
And to be honest,
and I think it's fair that there are, people who do view the country that way. They're depending on your politics and your
it's just
personal
not
situation, some people do view it that way.
it's not some people, sir. I'll be honest. The amount of people that have rushed over and
Mhm.
are utilizing our services, not just for the fact of immigration, because we do have other offers that services that we offer in this case.
Mhm.
People want to move money down, they want to invest in the States. Overall, investing in the States will have a higher yield in terms of your growth and money growth. You can buy multiple homes over here
Mark Carney knows
without the
that well,
fact of
doesn't
having
he?
any capital gains, especially in Texas. Um, Texas is in a surplus of $38 billion. Um, Florida's in a surplus of $34 billion, and they see the potential of growth in these two states alone. Mind you, we work with all states, but these two main states are where people are coming to, and because of that, the amount of businesses, the amount of money are coming down here. It is a solution for people to come down and build a family. They want to see a proper place where they can you know, enjoy life and not worry about what's next in this case. That's the type of people we've been talking to, and I feel very grateful and happy to help them. We have multiple people that have given video testimonials because we're on par and on the ball with these people all the time to help any way possible, whether it's uh, just a conversation able say, oh, can you find out about this place, can you see what this is? No problem. um it is one of the best feelings I've ever had my entire life, is helping Canadians move down to a place where they find a, a good place for their to grow.
Sandra, I want to say one thing. You talk about the success of investing in the
And
United
so
States,
I'm
right?
going to explain it something about our tier system.
Mhm.
We're restructuring a little bit, but majority of the people who do come on with us and sign on, they do have access to all their entire network, and we're adding more to our network. The one thing that I can explain is the major one, which is the tier platinum one, where there's flights and all that, which is the first one. That is geared towards families that really don't want to do anything but just hire us, and we take care of everything, even their flights, their pickup, their drop off, their hotel, everything. That is for more 4 to 6 people, and my partner actually wants to come on board. Uh, if you mind, I can have him jump on.
I just
Oh,
needed to
is
make
he here?
one.
I'm
I
gonna
needed
send
to
it
make
to him
one
right now.
comment. I needed to
Mm.
make one comment because you talked about,
There we
the
go.
success of investing in the United States, and
He'll
nobody knows
explain
that
more.
better
He's
than you.
more the financial money side, where he knows all the banks and the financial advisors. Um, yeah, so he's one of the best parts of this. I'm more of the logistical side. We have a very strong team, and we're just growing as we go. And I'll be honest, I've never been happier being here, especially the fact that the winters are very mild. I mean, we're not struggling with snow here. The housing over here is incredible. My one of my next door neighbor's house, brand new over here, costs $250,000, brand new 4 bedroom, 3 bathroom bungalow. Um, you can never get that in Toronto. You'd have to go, I would say, Sarnia, Windsor, for something brand new.
And you have a better quality of life, honestly, in Sarnia, Windsor too. You don't have to go to the big smoke.
Problem
So
is, you may have a
The
better
Big
quality
Smoke,
of
isn't
life.
that Dallas? Is the Big Smoke
No,
Dallas?
people call people up here.
Yes.
Yeah, it
I
is,
mean,
but some people call
I'm taking
Toronto.
I'm taking my a couple of my friends over here. We're going to Texas barbecue tomorrow.
Which one? Just
One
kidding.
thing for
Which
sure is Texas is just unbelievable for barbecue. It is hands down the best place on earth for barbecue.
Don't say
That's
that
for
in
sure.
Kansas. Don't say that in
I'm
Kansas.
not gonna even. I'm not gonna
Golly.
bother that.
Can I just
That's
say
for
my
sure.
joke? I've been trying to say my joke for the last 5 minutes. You talk about how good it is and how much success there is, when Canadians find out they can invest in the United States. Well, there's no Canadian knows that better than Prime Minister Mark Carney, right? I mean, he's the poster
Bingo.
child for Canadians investing in the United States, right? I think
Bingo.
500 something 94 of the companies he's invested in. It was a
Sorry, I
bar.
can't
It was
hear
a
you,
it was a
David.
bar graph. Oh,
You can't hear him. I can hear him.
I don't know. It's muted on my side. Can't hear him at all.
Can you hear him, Angie?
Yeah, I can hear him.
Yep.
I think David's all good.
how about now?
Now I can hear. Yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
great.
I don't know. It cut out or it didn't. I don't know. Either way. Did you hear what I said? 594 companies. Did that even come across?
Is that
Mark
do you have the receipts on that?
I actually do. It's on the Moose chart. It's on the Moose on the Loose channel. I'll actually bring that up. That's a
Rick, my partner wants to jump on board if you can
I
give him
don't
access
don't
because he
see
wants
him
to
here. I don't
give
see
some
your
more
partner
clarity
on the left
to
hand
what we do.
side there, Sandra.
I think they have to jump on with the link, Sandro. Otherwise, they're gonna have to snatch your. You better. You're an iPhone person, right? Tell me you're not an Android user. You're gonna have to pass your iPhone to them. Oh, there you go.
So, David, when did you decide or start to consider how long ago to go to the States and Texas specifically?
So that was 2015, which was a crazy time to move, right? Because that's when Trudeau. So of course that's when Trudeau is elected prime minister, and I go, great. As soon as weed's legal, I leave Canada. Like that was like the worst time ever. I go to Texas, and that's Satan salad. Now which was good because nothing.
Hey guys, I'm sorry, I do have to head out.
All right.
I have guests over, and we can revisit later on. But I really do hope everybody. I understand there's some negative, towards the fact that we're helping Canadians come down, but
Yeah.
we're not pushing people. We're not forcing anybody. People are genuinely want to leave. We're not telling them
Sandra,
that you have to leave.
I agree.
They genuinely just are just tired of the political landscape
not
and the fact that everything's just too
but look,
expensive
I mean,
up
this
there.
is part of the
Sorry, Rick,
issue
I
here.
can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Okay, sorry.
I can hear you fine, Rick.
I don't know what's going on with my side. It's kind of strange.
Must be
You probably have
settings.
it on your setting or something.
Yeah.
Maybe you connect.
Sorry, guys.
It's okay. Well, just
David, I
go
guess
ahead.
we'll speak later on, and we'll talk to everybody. And I'm glad everybody you got me on here. I look forward to anybody that genuinely wants us to help them. I will definitely do my best. And it was nice meeting you, Angie and Rick. Thank you. I'll talk to you later, David, and have a great night, guys. Cheers.
Okay.
So Angie, to answer your question, 2015, right? 2015. So 2015 came around. I got an opportunity to do the same job that I was doing in Canada, but to do it in Texas, the exact same job. And my wife was an American citizen at the time. So she was a dual. So I went to my boss and I said, "Hey, I'm going to move to the United States." And he said, "No, you're not. That's not going to happen."
And I said, well, corporate says I can move if I want to, and I can do the same job, but for them down there. And he said, you're not going to move. And I said, well, I'm either going to do it for the competitor or I'm going to do it for us. So 2 months later, I was on what's called an L1A visa. And there's L1A, there's L2A, there's all these different ones. I ended up moving down there 2015 until 2023.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2023, we'd been down there for a while, and we looked back at Canada, and all our family lives in Canada. We got few people that live in America, but we don't really know them. So all of our close family was back in Canada, and we were like, you know what, like, man, there, people need help. Our families up there. And so we decided to move back, and it took us 2 years living in the States to pay off all of our debt, all of our student debt, which was huge. We paid everything off within 2 years, lived a comfortable life for 6 years, bought a home, and then saw everyone, all of our family, best friends, our nieces and nephews, and we were like, we want to be with these people, and maybe we can do something to help, and move back. And so we did. And I'll be honest, Rick, if I would have spent one more year in Canada, we probably would be bankrupt right now. There'd be no way we could live there any longer. And so we actually moved back.
Well, and that's fine. That's your personal experience, but
that's my personal experience.
But I think it's an exaggeration, a gross exaggeration, to say that everybody wants to leave Canada. That's not.
No, I think in their heart they want to leave the country and the state that it's in currently. I don't think there's anybody.
Not everybody, David. Right, clearly, not everybody.
99% of the people in Canada aren't happy with Canada.
99%? No, I don't think so, sir.
You don't think so?
And that's actually, I think, kind of at the heart of the issue, here in a way. And I didn't really want to kind of take it there, but because the exaggeration is so extreme here, and I don't want this just to be
I know where you're going with this.
Where am I going with this?
Well, where you're going with this is that exaggeration and the narrative that's being spun by the people who fundamentally believe that Canada has failed them as a place to be, is spun up to a point of such extreme rhetoric that the truth doesn't matter. Like when I say 99%, in my heart, do I actually think 99% of Canadians want to leave? No, I don't think 99% do. But I think that the 40 to 50% of Canadians that didn't vote in the last federal election, probably half of them are ready to get up and go. And then you certainly have a bunch of people that voted against Canada continuing to be in the way that it's been going, the path that it's on. So, I mean, if I had to put money on it, I would say 51% of Canadians have at least considered in the last 12 months what kind of life they could build in the United States. That would be something like if we did a survey of 1,000 people, totally unbiased, not on a particular group. If we just did a random phone calls, I bet I would put money on it. 51% would say that they would consider moving to the States.
I'm going to read you a letter that was sent to me from somebody that is relevant.
Can you put it up? Can you put it up on the screen?
Maybe to some degree. I don't know if I really want to share the lady's name because she just sort of sent it to me. I'll
just
put it
crop
up.
it. Yeah, just crop it out.
I can't. I need to scroll to read it, and it's in my email here.
Oh.
I can show you.
I was going to suggest, David, that I think potentially conservatives are thinking that way, but I would almost guarantee you that most liberals would not move to the States. And currently, as the liberals are in power, more people voted.
Yeah.
For our current liberal government.
Look, man, you've got. I think she's quite right. A lot of conservatives, yes, maybe some others, but you also have a lot of people up here right now who won't even go on vacation there.
Maybe that's the next best trade deal is free citizenship for anybody in the States that wants to be a liberal in Canada, and free citizenship for any conservative that wants to leave Canada to come to the States. That could be like the best trade deal of all time.
Well, that's not in the cards at the moment.
I heard this month.
I wonder what the economy in Canada would be like if it was entirely made up of liberals and there was no conservatives to build houses or, weld stuff.
That's pretty egotistical, though, to say that no liberals own that. I know as a
I'd say
former
less than 10%
sales
of
rep,
tradespeople. I'd say less
I'm
than
not
10%.
I'm not saying
So-
trades, but I have a lot
Okay,
of
I'm gonna read this lady's
Okay.
comment because we're trying
All
to
right, go
give
ahead.
people from the community a voice, right? And so that's
Yeah,
a
do it.
large of what this is about. And this is who she is. And she is one of the admins on the Facebook group Universal Ostrich Farm Exposed and Unfiltered, which I'm not a member of. Haven't seen any posts from there, but she says it's a large and highly active community focused on factual documentation, accountability, and public interest issues surrounding the Universal Ostrich Farm situation and its broader impacts on individuals and the Edgewood community. She says, I'm reaching out directly because what occurred during a recent episode was concerning enough that I felt it warranted direct, transparent communication rather than commentary through third parties or social media speculation. After reviewing the episode carefully, reading extensive member feedback, and receiving private messages from people who are actively watching the interview in real time, I made the decision to address my group directly. What follows is the message I shared with our members in response to a request by David Alott to join our group. That's you, I guess, and I'm sharing it with you in full so you understand both my position and the reasoning behind it. After reading every comment, every private message, and taking time to step back and actually sleep on it, my decision is clear. I am following my gut, and my gut has been right far too often to ignore now. What happened on Rick's show was not organic. It was not accidental. In my opinion, it was calculated. The individual presented as a guest expert, local representative, and journalist was none of those things. I guess they're talking about you, Angie. During the interview itself, my own admin and at least 2 other group members were actively messaging her with dates, talking points, and basic factual information because she clearly could not provide them on her own. That alone speaks volumes. David
That's not
Alott
true, actually. They're
Yeah.
currently doing it right now, and they've
Mhm.
done it for almost
Yeah.
every single episode I've had. So she's misled, and she
Okay.
also lives in Ontario.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know the lady. And I haven't spoken to her. But anyway, David Alott, in my opinion, was a plant. He was disingenuous, evasive, and inconsistent because lies are hard to keep straight. He positioned himself as uninformed while simultaneously defending the farm's talking points, dismissing victims, and attempting to shut the conversation down. Those 2 things cannot coexist honestly. I am more convinced than ever that this situation goes beyond simple ignorance or poor research. What I saw aligns disturbingly well with right-wing, anti-government, anti-institution narratives that we have all seen repeatedly weaponized to divide communities and undermine public trust. Dave, Angie, and others who are scheduled to appear openly share anti-government views, pro-Trump sentiment, and rhetoric hostile toward Canadian institutions. Their tone, framing, and behavior are not neutral. They are ideological. I believe foreign influence, or at a minimum, foreign-aligned interests are at play here. Dave lives part-time in the U.S., openly praises American politics under Trump, disparages Canada, and inserts himself into Canadian issues while claiming ignorance. Which is you did, which
Dude, I'm super ignorant. I'll tell you
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
And you saw it at the beginning. I didn't even know we were live. I told you everything. Look,
Well,
it's embarrassing.
You're a Luddite.
It's
see? Just like
embarrassing.
me.
It's embarrassing to go on a show and get caught with your pants down and not
No,
be
you
ready.
did great.
I had
People love
no
you.
idea what you guys were up to. I had no idea what the angle was. I
You were-
thought this was independent.
No, it's fine.
Hey,
Yeah.
Tell us something about the farm. Yeah, man, I
Yeah,
did
yes.
everything I could to help those
let me finish
Yeah.
this for this lady,
I mean,
okay? To give
yeah,
her
okay, finish for the
her
lady.
moment. So when someone who claims ignorance also admits to speaking directly with the farm immediately before an interview, that raises serious red flags. Because of this, I will not be promoting the upcoming Saturday episode. I didn't see this until last night, by the way. I do not believe it will bring clarity, facts, or truth, only more confusion and narrative control by individuals whose values do not align with this group or our mission, or it could be turned into a commercial for the bridge. These people are not misunderstood. They are not confused, in my opinion. They are useful idiots at best and deliberate propagandists at worst. I also believe attempts have been made to circumvent me by using my own admins and members as intermediaries, or information sources. Those attempts have been shut down. Going forward, I will be far more guarded. That is not secrecy. That is leadership and protection. I will not be part of anything that advances Maple MAGA agenda. and now believe this so-called miniseries is doing exactly that. And I think there's probably some merit in her criticizing me for that. I would strongly urge Maverick News and Rick Walker to reconsider continuing it. And yet here we are. How many nights has this been? 5, 4? So I am guilty. These individuals are not bringing facts or unity. They are bringing ideological bias and disinformation dressed as concern. There were countless red flags, including but not limited to inability to provide a basic timeline, zero empathy for Lois Wood or the Edgewood community. I don't think that's quite true. Really not. Talking over and disrespecting the host, sometimes. That happens all the time. Questioning whether Rick is a real journalist, and we've discussed that. Claiming ignorance of publicly available facts, contradicting himself repeatedly. I think this is all aimed at you, David. Admitting contact.
Oh, shucks, by golly geez. Keep your elbows up, lady. That's all I can say. Just keep your elbows up.
Admitting
which is
contact
such a stupid thing.
Admitting contact with the farm before the interview, refusing to disclose donation amounts, which we got tonight. Finally, you didn't.
I don't care anymore.
I understand.
I was embarrassed. Yeah. I don't care anymore. You fight or flight, man. Whatever.
Online activity clearly supporting the farm, off-putting commentary on unrelated global issues, and personal narratives.
Who is this person? My teacher? Like, am I being scolded in the principal's office?
No, she's scolding me, honestly. And I don't think she ever intended for this to reach you. This is really criticizing me.
Yeah, Rick.
For doing this, for just doing the series, just expressing her concern. If he genuinely wanted the truth, he would have found it by now. Many of us did. I once supported the farm too. She's trying to warn me, and she's concerned.
I think she's run out of ink on that letter. Like she's got burnt through 2 pens at this point.
Well, we're almost done, and she I'm going to give her time here. The difference is openness and honesty. He showed neither. What I saw was an attempt to control the narrative, discredit factual information, and shut discussion down under the guise of just asking questions. That is not curiosity. That is manipulation. I will not be inviting Dave into this group. I believe he poses a threat to the integrity of this space. The same applies to other bad faith actors. This group will not be used, monitored, divided, or destabilized. We're here for facts, accountability, and truth, not propaganda, ego, or ideological games. What happened felt like sabotage. I stand by that. I am not asking for agreement. My concern is not personal. It is about narrative integrity and the real harm caused when bad faith actors are given legitimacy they have not earned.
Is that it? She's the admin. That's the admin of the Ostrich Farm Exposed. That's what that is. There's a Facebook page, and good for them. They're amassing a lot of stories and trying to put everything there. They're very, very, very passionate about trying to expose the farm, but it's a weak. At this point, it's a weak group because so far they haven't been able to really do anything. I mean, but they have a lot of stories and a lot of facts and data. I'm sure they got to do something eventually. I hope they do. I hope, Angie, you said there's a mini series coming up, or there's a documentary, or there's multiple things coming up. I mean, it's going to be a big thing. Hopefully we see the Freedom Convoy documentary first, but by golly gosh,
is that same production company doing a Freedom Convoy documentary too, Angie?
I don't know. I can check in, but I just wanted to touch base on this because each conversation that I've had since the middle of November, I have included some locals, and I have a few Facebook friends that I've met along the way. And oddly enough, I got, what do you call it? She blocked me, that gal who runs that group. I've never met her. I've been told that she lives in Ontario. And what concerns me is her personal bashing of other people. And so it's happened twice now. So
I'm sorry, who are you talking about?
This gal who wrote the letter in. So she's actually blocked me because I tried to reach out to her in regards to a misunderstanding that took place. So there's just lots of drama. And I think where my concern is I'm still for the community of Edgewood. For the locals, that's where my heart lies. And of the wildlife, that's why I started to have these conversations. And what's happened, this isn't the first exposed group, by the way. There was one previously that kind of self-combusted due to some politics. And what's happened this week is this gal has booted all her mods and other admins out of the group because she doesn't like to be told what to do. So when she's talking about free speech and truth and transparency, she's just booted out a whole bunch of people and blocked locals, in fact, from speaking up, I'm told. So take a look at
it sounds like a psychopath.
Well,
sounds like
I don't think. Well,
psychopath.
whoa! I don't think she's not necessarily a psychopath.
I mean, she just scolded you for 25 minutes, like in a row.
And some of the criticism she's leveling at me, I think, are valid. Frankly,
womp. I don't think so. I think she's just an angry. I think she's an angry person, and she's frustrated that even though you've given her a voice there, she wrote a 6-page essay on how terrible you are at your job, which I think you're pretty decent at your job. I don't agree with a lot of what you say. Well, I'd say I don't agree with. There's another exaggeration. I would say I don't agree with 51% of what you say or more. But that lady right there, she's got power. She's got a group of people. She's got a bunch of stories. She's got a following, and she's not going to let anyone in.
By the way, she did not.
Yeah, but she won't let anyone in who agrees with her.
Well, I don't know that. I don't necessarily think that group is just a public forum. It's a community of people, but it doesn't mean that they're obligated to just let anybody in. You can have your own private group of people, a private Zoom call. You can have a private club. So it does, just because it's on social media, it doesn't mean it has to be open to the whole world or you let everybody on. It's not like around here where I talk to everybody necessarily. And I don't know the lady, and I'm not in the group. I haven't seen any of what's in there. I'm just reading the letter, and I think she has some valid concerns about the editorial direction that I've taken with this series. I've had the same concerns because I don't want to be exploited. I don't want the platform used for promotional purposes or to further a narrative. I don't want to be manipulated, so I'm trying to avoid that, while at the same time trying to cover a valid story. And along the way, you do encounter things that are of concern. And one of those issues is foreign influence, in particular, something that kept rearing its head throughout this weird story, and that is the influence of U.S. politics and U.S. money from influential Americans. And so, when
but you saw that in the Freedom Convoy too. You saw that in the Freedom Convoy,
of course,
too,
and
right?
that's a valid concern. And you're seeing it in the separatist movement right now as well.
Why are you bringing up my Facebook page, Rick?
Just because I'm just
go to the abortion. Go to the abortion comment. Can you start there? I'm going to get lots of love from that one.
Well, we can share that. I don't mind showing that.
I was joking. I mean, everyone's going to pile on me, but I mean, I'm pretty outspoken. I feel like I have to say things because a lot of
David, if I may, so that I can, at least participate. And for me, when I see, it's language like to escape the hellhole Canada has become and move to the USA. It's language like that concerns me just a little bit, because
walk downtown Victoria and watch a guy bubbling crack and blowing it in your face as you try to catch a bus and tell me
but in fairness, there's a lot of that goes on in U.S. cities too, and there's a lot of that can go on in Texas too, frankly.
No.
Yeah.
Texas is actually one of the top places for transitioning children. Are you aware of that?
I mean, there's 36 million people here, so I mean,
it's odd that conservatives would
probably. You know why? It's because of Austin. That's why.
It's definitely concerning. There's a show, I believe it's called like White Underbelly, that highlights part of it. And and when everyone's moving to Texas, they think it's a strong conservative state, but it has gone a little more purple over the last little bit. There's still strong.
Well, it's the cities. Texas is not purple by any means. It's the cities. It's Dallas. So you got a metroplex called Dallas-Fort Worth. Dallas, very, very, votes liberal. Fort Worth, 20 miles away, 1 point something million people, very conservative. Houston's going to be liberal, but we're talking it's by county, right? So they count the number of votes in the state, and so the cities tend to vote liberal. Now, what's funny though is an American Democrat, is really closer to a Canadian conservative than a Canadian liberal. So even saying that the Democrats are left in America, it's really not fair to the political spectrum. But the cities, the major metroplexes, tend to vote on the left side, except for Fort Worth. That's kind of the only one that doesn't.
Yeah,
but,
the demographics break down kind of in a similar fashion in many parts of Canada. Certainly here in Ontario, you get the Liberals are very strong up in the GTA, and then when you get down into my neck of the woods, you get a lot more conservatives. We have a conservative member of parliament, even the People's Party, which I was involved with before rekindling my news platform here. I helped them get the second largest result in not the last election, the election prior to that, aside from Maxime Bernier. So
did you vote Liberal or did you vote for Pierre Poilievre? Who did you vote for?
I don't tell people who I vote for, but I think people can probably figure out here on the podcast. People know me.
You voted for Jagmeet. You just went orange just to stick it to
technically we don't vote for the leaders, unfortunately. We vote for our MPs, and however many MPs get in, that's how.
Well, you're the one with progressive in your email.
Did you put your name? That's like a 25-year-old email. Did you put your name on Pierre's ballot? Is that what you were up to? Were you one of the 95 people on Pierre's ballot?
See, David, when I restarted the news platform, I got rid of any political connections that I had. So I don't really divulge any of, I won't tell people who I vote for. I don't support any candidates. I don't, because I'm trying to remain somewhat impartial, even though I inject my editorial opinion, which is honestly largely pretty conservative. But I'm trying. I'm a little more balanced, I think, or closer to the right center than a lot of people. There's a lot more.
If the Conservatives won the last election, Sandro would be out of a job. I promise you that. If the Conservatives won the election, the bridge, what Sandro's doing, trying to help people move to America, I think he'd be out of a job. I think the only reason why this company exists right now is because he recognized that there was now a business opportunity because of the state. I think he'd be out of a job if Conservatives won. I truly believe that. I think that and this isn't a huge knock against you. And Angie, you're probably closer to my generation. You look like a millennial, but
that's nice. I'm not.
We're coming up with this term. We don't want to use the term boomer anymore, because anytime you say boomer, it doesn't matter, conservative or liberal, they get triggered. So I'm coming up with this term, and we're right now OG libs. The OG libs of Canada are the ones that want to hang on tight to this past ghost of what Canada used to be, and they think that it still is the same thing, and it's completely not. Canada's been completely destroyed by liberal government since 2015, and they just fail to admit it. It's like, well, life might be good for you, but it's terrible after the last 10 years, where the millennials are now in their 30s and Gen Z's now at the age where they can start having kids. The country's been destroyed by liberal governments. People like yourself, Rick.
Which liberal governments? Which liberal government?
All of it. The whole thing.
You're so wrong. You're wrong.
The BC NDP. Well, here, let me finish.
You're too young to understand.
But 38 years old. I'm not that young, Rick. I got 5
Yeah, but
kids.
I've been around a little bit longer. And
I've lived all over. I've lived all over the place. Okay, well, if you let me finish, and then I'll give you a chance to participate, as you said. The liberals. The OG liberals in Canada who kept David Eby in power in British Columbia, who elected Mark Carney, the WEF banker, who are the elbows up crowd. What is that crowd who supports cheating? Elbows up in hockey puts you in the penalty box, by the way. That crowd supported the destruction of the future for Gen Z and millennials, and we will do anything we can, from exaggerate to believe false narratives, to do anything we can to stick it to this country that we used to love, but have been abandoned by, and it's people like you, Rick, who won't come out and tell us who you voted for, that are doing a disservice to the OG libs. Because if you come out and say, you know what, on the platform and the facts of data, the conservatives have a better platform than the liberals do. Or if you came out and said, hey, the liberals have a better platform than the conservatives do, you had at one point, I think, over 100,000 concurrent viewers on your live stream. And, you know, we got a bit of work to get you back there again. But people like you, Rick, have destroyed this country by not coming out and supporting the future generation. And it's people who are, it's what I hope happens is that enough people leave Canada that the FAFO, the you know, mess around and find out happens, and then conservatives win, and then everyone can move back and be Canadian again and enjoy the country we love. But until that change happens, I think I'm going to just dump on the OG libs and say this is entirely your fault, and all the destruction we're seeing is their fault. So change my mind. Tell me that the OG libs aren't responsible for all of the fallout.
The OG libs.
The OG libs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, and let's just
tell me I'm
this
wrong.
for a minute. Mark Carney stole most of his platform from Pierre Poilievre, and I think we all can discuss that because there was a ton of stuff, and then he showed up was this, you know, knight in shining armor, and everyone got all hot and heavy over and started voting for him. They did a shift and change, and he literally scooped the main topics of his platform. Like, I think we can all agree to that. And then,
so did you vote for Pierre? Did you vote for Pierre?
I am a conservative voter, yes. Did I vote for Pierre? No, that's not how our elections work in Canada.
You vote. I mean, I don't know where Kelowna. I don't know the candidate for Kelowna. So,
well, funny enough, I'm one of the.
It actually is how we work in Canada. That actually is how we work in Canada. Is you vote for the leader.
For the MP. You vote for
no,
you don't.
The MP does what the leader says. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm just.
So when I have a liberal,
So then you're in favor of floor crossing.
Sorry.
So you're then in favor of floor crossing because you don't like it when they have to vote in line with the party. You guys can't have it both ways. I
don't understand what you mean. Sorry. Like what the conservative guy did when he went to the liberals, the Ma.
Yeah, a couple of them. Yeah, and now everybody's losing their minds, and you know, I know you're tied in with, as you said, a lot of the influencers on the conservative side. So their heads started to blow up, and they're like, "Oh, that's not right. That should be illegal." But you're
just because I watch influencers doesn't mean I'm tied in. I mean, we watch influencers. I watch.
Hold on here. You told me that you have connections to 1 to 2 million people with those influencers. You do.
No, I said those influencers. Those influencers that I watch probably have 2 million-ish viewers, and that we need to pay attention because those influencers. If you pay attention, Rick, the influencers or the YouTube creators aren't OG boomers. They're not OG libs. We're not going to say boomers. They're not OG libs. They're millennials and they're Gen Z. And the reason why they're getting 2 million views a night.
You told me that you are connected to them.
Rick, just because you sit down and have a meal with someone doesn't necessarily mean that you're connected. I'm not an affiliate. If this is such a silly thing in Canada, you talk to someone, have dinner with someone one time, all of a sudden you're grouped in with something. No, the purpose of this, what I was trying to convey to you, was that if you treat people like normal people and you sit down and you have some conversations with these people, which anyone is welcome to do. I mean, you can go on Clyde's stream.
I know some of them. I'm aware of some of them. And I think I'd like to participate in the conversation if I could, to respond to a little bit of what was said. Can I?
Yeah, well, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, of course. Yeah, go ahead.
So, first of all, Texas actually has one of the largest tent cities in all of the United States. And this one here is in Austin. So you've got 10 cities there. And look,
that's nothing. Put that back up. There's like 20 tents there. There's 150 tents in Victoria in one park. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, there's 8 tents. 8. Is that a tent? Sure. Hey, that guy did all right for himself. 9. You got 9 tents, one of the largest tent cities in Texas. See, Rick?
No, I didn't say that.
You can say I exaggerate all you want. There's 9 tents, and you're saying it's the largest tent
city. I didn't say this was one of the largest. Well, this is actually a pretty substantial.
You said this, and you put it up. This is the kind of crap people are going to shit on you for. 11, 13.
Yeah, well, you know, David.
Largest tent city. We couldn't even count.
I did not say. If you don't mind, I'd like to finish what I'm saying. I didn't say that was the largest tent city. there's another one in the center of Texas. I have to get you the name of it. I didn't have it queued up. This is just something that came up here. So I'll look up the name, and I haven't been down there in a while. I'm saying what I'm saying, which I think is a fair and balanced comment, is that these problems are all over the place. We have them in these. You have them in the States, in many places, including Texas. It's a social problem. It's an economic problem. It's a drug problem. Every community is suffering to one degree or another with this. Texas is not exempt from that. I know that you're trying to portray this utopian picture because you guys are trying to push people down there, and you have political reasons for doing it that are quite apparent, and you're involving yourself in a lot of politics up here. But every community has it. I can tell you too that in my community we didn't have any tent cities until just a couple of years. Like no homeless people when I moved to that town at all. And we have a small group of homeless people in Chatham right now, which I've actually done stories on, and it's a valid concern, and it's something that the community is dealing with, and they're building tiny homes there. But the point is that it's a growing problem, not just in Canada, but in the United States and in Texas as well. That's a fair comment. No,
I'm biting my tongue here because we gotta cut the shit. You're talking about Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas, which is a 11-hour drive, a border town on the furthest reaches of Texas. Fort Bliss is a border town tent city for illegal immigrants. You can't say that these problems exist everywhere and that they're all equal. You're talking Victoria, BC.
You're saying that you don't have a tent city. You're okay. So you've got a problem with illegal immigrants, and you have a whole community of them living in
with illegal immigrants. We can go into that anytime you want, but it's a 5,000 person under ICE.
Is it a problem or not a problem? Is it a real thing? It's a real thing.
It's a tent city for illegal immigrants.
So
and you're saying that we have
a problem.
But you're saying we have these problems everywhere. We do not have 5,000 illegal immigrants in Victoria, British Columbia. We have a population in Victoria, British Columbia living in tents.
You're twisting what I'm saying. I'm saying that
I'm trying to lay it out. I'm trying to lay it out.
Is a problem that is in all places. These tent cities have been popping up because of drug issues in virtually every community, because we've got a drug problem that's out of control in both the United States and Canada. That's the reality. And if we're going to deal with these things, we have to deal in facts. But you've just stated previously that you really don't care about reason. You don't care about truth. You don't care about facts. And you just want to achieve some political thing, some political objective, and you're willing to lie in order to get what you want.
I want to see Canadians move to the United States because they're going to have a better life here. That would make me so happy.
And I would say that may be the case for some people, but not for everyone. And people need to make their own assessment on it. And if they're going to do it, they shouldn't be basing that on an exaggeration or lies. They need proper perspective. They need the real information. Otherwise, that's fair. And if you're going to advertise a product or a service, you should be accurate about it or factual. I can tell you that I've done a lot of television commercials, and I know that what you're advertising and the way you're advertising it would never be approved for like a television commercial, because it just wouldn't meet the regulatory standards for truth.
Too bad.
It would be deemed to be false advertising.
Too bad.
And you can speak to this. You worked in sales and marketing for radio. Are there not standards and rules that have to be made to prevent?
That's why we're independent.
Absolutely. But also a big part of this, and that's my concern, is that as a paid influencer for companies, you have to establish the fact that you are being paid to do that. That's my concern.
No, you don't. Says who?
It's a legal thing in Canada, my friend.
Okay, so all these influencers are operating illegally?
Well, if they're receiving foreign money, they may well be.
Foreign money. Okay.
Absolutely. So just a side note here, I have a girlfriend who grew up near me in the Okanagan. She lived in Alberta for quite some time. She's recently She's in Texas. She said, by the way, we're not fleeing to Texas, but so far we haven't seen a downside to being here. And yeah. So I just wanted to say that, because she's currently on her way to move to Texas. She is from the Okanagan originally and is going down there from Alberta, but she's also heavily involved in the equine, her and her partner. But also too, when you were talking about influence and YouTubers, you messaged me that you have a very strong community of YouTubers that are friends, over 1 million subscribers.
Everyone's a friend in that community. Everybody knows everyone. And
right,
let's hold on. No, we got to cut the shit for a second. What I was trying to tell you, we got to cut the shit for a second. I was telling you that after coming on and talking to both of you, that if you guys wanted to share the facts and data that you have on this ostrich farm that went down, that I would be willing to try and piece it together and put it in somewhat of an organized way, because I don't know how you guys keep your notes. I don't know how organized you are, but that I would be willing to try to piece it together and just send it to people. You could send it to them as easily as I could. It's just I happen to be aware of certain people because I've met them at certain events and gotten to know them. And they're actually really good people, despite all the terrible things you want to say about these influencers or YouTubers saying that they spin things up. They're actually great people, and they're patriots because they want what's best for Canadians. I know them as well as you know them, in terms of you can tune into their shows at any time and send them a direct message at any time. Whether or not they want to listen to you is up to them, but there's nothing special about, communicating with someone online. If you don't get any kickback, that's not my problem. That's your problem. So
no, this is not how you relate it. You said, send me all of your information. I need all
send me all your info. Yes.
I've got an army of YouTubers wanting to clear their names and report on this. It will have millions of views by the end of the next week. They're all going to launch it at the same time. So
they will.
Is that what you're saying right now?
That's what you do in the news, dude. Do you ever open up YouTube? I mean, okay, Angie, here's the funny thing about you. Here's the funny thing about you. You are the classic stickler. Watch the news. Watch any YouTube creator on the news. They all cover the same story at the same time. Do you notice that?
I know,
they all cover it at the same time. And you're trying to be like, you said this. And it's like, no, you're saying that. I'm telling you how this works. You go online, you watch the news every day. Pretty much every content creator covers it at the same time. If you want to tell the truth about the ostrich farm, several YouTube creators gave that ostrich farm a platform and, came out in support of stopping government overreach, which could look like support for that farm. And if you would be so kind, which neither of you have done, by the way, because you want to hold on to your secret notes.
That's bullshit.
You guys would you haven't sent me anything. If you guys would be so kind to just put it in a little organized way so that community can actually look at what you have in terms of facts and data and then create a story out of it like they would with any other story.
David,
go ahead.
David,
you're full of shit.
Hold
on, just wait a minute, Rick. Frankly, I sent you 2 links. There are 2 links. They're on my Facebook. All the details.
Rick, go ahead. Rick.
You asked me for my notes, and it's actually inappropriate. In all the years that I've worked in media as a journalist, I've never, ever had another journalist or media organization ask me for my notes or all my background information on a story, unless we are collaborating on a project or a story. But after the fact, after having done a story, I've never had anybody come to me and ask for all of my research material, all of my notes. Just send me everything you have, and then somebody else will, basically repeat the information. It's any self-respecting reporter would be insulted if that were to be sent over. I let them do their own damn work. Like, honestly. And they've got a whole team.
That's such an OG lib thing to say.
That's an ethical thing. That's
you can make life easier for other people. You're choosing not to.
That's journalism.
But David,
if you're
not. That's selfish OG lib mentality. Make life hard for anyone else.
No,
what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say?
Because you're saying I didn't send you the information. The 2 links I gave you are the same 2 links that are open on my Facebook for everyone to see.
What links?
Go through. I'm literally reading from our
You're talking about the
conversation.
exposed page from the Elbows Up
No,
letter
no,
writer
I'm
that
not.
said I
I
couldn't
sent
join
you
the
2
group?
links on my own personal Facebook page. They've been up since September. They have all
You
the
mean on
details
Messenger?
in it.
You
Yes.
sent it on Messenger?
Yes, you asked me to send it, and then you kind of said, like, I can do this and give you all the credit or do it without you. And I'm like, I already sent
Sorry,
you it.
I'm going to have to scroll for a bit because I have so many people that message me. It's going to take me a while here to get to you. Here you go. I'm just being facetious. Come on. I know it was a dickhead thing to say. All right, Angie, 2 Facebook posts I have publicly posted and shared with you.
Literally, I'm liking the one right now, so you'll find it easier.
I don't see it. I don't know. This is boring. What else you got? I don't see any information. I'm sorry. You can resend it to me. But
Well,
I
if
don't
this
see
is boring, how much money did you give to the farm if you want to talk about that?
Shit, you want me to actually do it live and actually figure it out right now?
Yeah, and did anyone
Is that
else
what you
give
wanna know?
money from other
Lots of
organizations,
people
American
did.
or Canadian?
Lots of people did. I have no idea about American. The only people I know that gave money were Canadian. I have no idea about Americans. Let's see here.
And were any from this influencer group that you're speaking about?
No, fuck no. Absolutely not. No. If there was, well, I guess you can't really trust anything I say, huh? So I'll keep you guessing. No, they all told me I was an idiot. Everyone I know said I was an idiot. Everybody. Angie, I'm gonna look here. I'm just scrolling through. I'm gonna say all well and told, between my pocket and other people's, probably close to $40,000, probably around there. So it wasn't
You sent me a
30,000. Rick. I
message
told
saying
you
that
it
it was
wasn't 30,000 because it was more. Yeah, no, but when you add up everything, like, I was gathering donations and stuff, and I sent you a bunch of texts, and I sent you whatever. I at this point I don't care. The ostrich farm is a fucking scam. I got scammed by, pardon my language. I hope I didn't let that slip too hard. It was a scam. I got very little in terms of receipts back. I was very busy. I don't really want to talk about that farm anymore, other than the fact that you guys clearly have all these notes, and how dare anyone ask for your notes. So I hope you guys can share everything in a concise manner that people will be able to watch. And I would encourage you guys to actually get it out in a format that the content creators who actually have large audiences can digest, like any other news story. And hopefully you guys are willing to do that, unless it's like your own personal thing. But I would encourage you guys to share that with the independent media community, whether or not
So
you
we already
agree
have.
with
That's
the
the issue. Is I've sent it to Moose. I've sent it to Rebel News. I've sent it to Northern Perspective. I said, like, you name it, I've sent it to people. And if not, I've retweeted it. We also have a group of conservative and liberals that have all shared this on all different kind of platforms. They actually won't touch it.
Why don't you send it to me?
Viva
Why not
Frey?
send it to me?
I already did. I sent you 2 links.
Okay.
So Viva Frey, it has been messaged by a personal friend of mine that I used to work with 25 years ago, Freeway Frank. He has his own podcast. He has all those details as well, and Viva won't touch it.
You haven't sent me anything, Angie. There's nothing here. See?
That's not
nothing.
true.
You haven't sent me nothing. You're like, I've sent it to you. Nope.
It's already
It's not here, dude. I'm telling you. Where is it?
Not.
I got good. You wrote me good.
I just liked it.
Okay, I'll say it one more time. Please send me the link. I don't need you to like it. If you'd be so kind to send that to me, then I can see it. Is that fair? Is that a fair thing for me to ask?
Yeah, but I'm just correcting you when you're saying I didn't send anything when I have.
By golly gosh, I am corrected. Please send it to me. And then that would be fabulous. So moving to the United States is awesome. Best decision I ever made. Allowed me to build a family. I walk into the ER. I get treated on the spot. I get to keep all my income tax I earn in the States, still pay federal tax. Families are healthy. There's high school football games. There's tailgating. Your neighbors will come over.
Okay, that's
you.
great, and that's a good sales pitch. But what the problem here is, David, is that you became involved in a political thing out of the farm, and it's not so much a problem necessarily, other than it raises concerns about where this money's coming from, what the political objectives are behind it, and then what we're finding is that you came
out of my line of credit, dude. It came out of my line of credit.
Mike, and here's the other question that comes to mind is, like, what is it now that suddenly has made you embarrassed, or why do you now regret giving the money to the farm?
Oh, doing the one thing that you say our generation needs to do, which is actually do some research and not get spun up into a narrative. I mean, I was completely spun up into the narrative, right? Okay. Started with being emotionally attached to the birds because I have a history with birds, not those particular birds, but with that particular animal, and working on a farm. With ostriches, got spun up into the narrative. I'm not going to name too many names, but got spun up into a narrative. Very, very busy. Went to friends and people I knew and people I didn't even really know and asked for donations from them. And all Canadians, didn't ask for any foreign donations. I know that's a big no-no, but you'll never find anything on that because it doesn't exist. But got spun up and then came on your show and then was like, on the spot, it's embarrassing to be humbled live on at any point in time, and just started doing some research. I was up until like 2 o'clock at night trying to.
What I'm not understanding is, like, when people gave money, including yourself, to the farm, I don't know that there was any declaration or any disclaimer saying that the money would only be spent in a particular way. So you're giving the money to the farm, and now I'm hearing from people that they're not happy or they're having donor's remorse or something.
I think anyone that gave to that farm has donor's remorse. I mean, I would say the vast majority. Now, don't get me wrong. There's lots of good people that came out to support that farm. Lots of good people
Absolutely.
did. And a lot of good people got taken advantage of. And the money that was given, people seem to think this was like a big chunk of money that dumped in. No, this was like I gave everything I could and then would max out my line of credit, and then I would get paid, and then I would try to pay as many bills as I could, and if I had any money left over, I would send it. So if you were to go through my transaction history, you would see it was like just little bits and pieces here as I could afford to give, because I was completely brainwashed by the whole thing, which is super embarrassing. And I asked other people for help, and they gave me the help because they know who I am and as a person, and that I really do have a big heart for people that need help. And it was just the worst part about the farm that I'll say, this will be the last thing I say about the farm. The worst thing about the farm is that in supporting it, you thought, myself, in supporting it, I thought I was doing something good to push against government overreach, which has been putting their thumb down, the OG libs putting their thumb down on Canadians for so long, that it felt like an opportunity to kind of push back. And farmers, generally, we give them a pass. They work hard. They get up in the morning. They put food on the table for people. You get a pass. And the only victims here were the birds and the community of Edgewood and all the people that gave their time and effort. But between hearing about stories of, cocaine, alcohol-fueled parties, to infidelity, to, I mean, everything under the sun, completely embarrassed to have given any amount of money to that cause. I would have felt a lot better providing that money, to communities that could have used it, for First Nations communities, for children's programs, and around the area. That money could have gone to a lot of different places, and unfortunately, it'll never come back. But I have asked, for them to do the right thing and pass that money on to people who need it. And I would really like to see them kind of turn around, but it's just really sad. The whole situation just sucks ass, and sucks almost as much ass as living in Canada under Liberal leadership for 15 years. I'll leave it at that. How about
that? I don't dispute the statements that Trudeau sucked. I've said many times he's the worst prime minister in Canadian history. And you can call me whatever you want or believe what you want politically about me. It's kind of irrelevant. So I think I'm trying to be fair and balanced here, not extreme. And I'm trying to bring people closer to the truth. I'm not sure that that's what you're doing here, David. And I wish that you would just be a little more, I don't know, what's the word?
Humble?
Litigious?
Just accurate, real about it, not so extreme, because it's
about moving to the States, or how awesome Trump is and how great of a job Trump is doing?
It's not about that, but I think you have to respect the fact that in Canada and the US, there are elections, and sometimes our party wins and sometimes they don't. And I think it's super interesting that so many conservatives, including some at the farm, are super upset, want to overthrow the government. Like, that's bullshit. Like, get involved, like put some boots to the ground, go knock on doors in your area or whoever your favorite MP is that's in the Conservative Party, and make a difference. Because it's super easy to yik yak and do all this kind of bullshit. But if you don't put boots on the ground, I think it's kind of pointless. And then also,
are you saying I didn't put boots on the ground? Hold on a second. Are you saying I didn't put boots on the ground?
Allow me to finish. Election? No, I'm saying, but going forward, let's do that. And then my major concern is that the influencers, the right-leaning ones in Canada and some that have moved to the US, are now getting sponsored by people that are inviting them to Texas and other places. So they're sitting there calling down Canada, saying what a shithole it is, and I disagree with that. And then they're also getting paid by American companies to say it more, because every time they say it and someone signs up, they get some cash.
No one's telling them what to say, Angie. That is a crock.
It's advertising.
That's Crocs with socks. There's no one's telling them what to say. No one is telling them
when you're being paid, it absolutely influences what you say.
So you're telling me, Rick.
So I mean, here's Clyde, right? And on his page, USA is the greatest country in the history of the earth, escaping the grips of communism in Canada.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay, so define communism.
Well, in terms of Canada,
have you been to Cuba?
No.
No, I have not been to Cuba.
In terms of what communism
Cuba. Have you been to Cuba?
I have, yes.
How awesome is Cuba compared to the United States? Please tell me.
So the interesting thing is, when I was there, I watched Larry King live, because oddly enough, as a radio broadcaster at the time, I watched Larry King say how crazy it was there because there was no cell phones. And I'm not saying a communist country is great. That's not my point. I'm saying how people mislead you. They sat there and said that there was no one that had cell phones. Meanwhile, everyone that served me had a cell phone. And then I actually did a tour out into like an orphanage, and the people running the orphanage had cell phones, by cracky. I'm just saying that we are misleading the truth. And I'm not saying that you're not having a better life in Texas. I'm jealous because of the weather, but hopefully I'll go somewhere warm in the next bit. But I think my concern is when influencers and podcasters are literally shitting on our country and then getting like $500.
They're sick and tired of the BS, Angie. They're sick and tired of watching the country they love die.
That's why you're taking people to the States, so then they're not going to vote conservative next time. Aren't you just shooting a already dead horse then? Like,
I want to see. This is what I want to see right now. I want to see. You guys are going to hate me for saying this. I want to see as many skilled tradespeople leave Canada as possible, because the life that they deserve isn't in Canada. It is in the United States. The builders, the people who build, the people who make stuff, the people who, work with their hands, the lifestyle that they want with the 5 kids, 4 kids, the 3,000 square foot house on half an acre, with any vehicle they want to drive, with being able to fill up their Suburban for
can be right here in Canada.
Is not in Canada.
It absolutely can be, and it is for a lot of people, even in my neighborhood.
Let me define communism for you in terms of Canada, okay? Let's define communism.
If you're going to define it, define communism.
Okay, I don't care what your version of communism is, Rick. I'm a millennial. Facts and data don't matter to me. This is communism.
That's pretty fair.
I know it's frustrating, but this is the reality you're dealing with. The boomers are going to die.
What we're dealing with is some sort of manufactured reality that's not really real.
Yeah, okay, but we're all buying into it because we're sick and tired of the sticklerism out of Canada. Here's what Canada is communism to me, okay? It's that the government decides more of our life each year.
So every year that goes by, what you just said is it just says that whatever you say now doesn't really matter. Because you've just stated that you're not going to talk, and you're not going to express facts, you're not going to express reason, and we're too much of sticklers, which means that, to hell with truth. So anything you say can't be trusted, because you're quite willing to lie in order to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. In order to just make a point in a discussion, you can't be trusted, because you're quite willing to lie in order to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. In order to just make a point in a discussion, in order to make a point in a discussion, you'll state untruths. So how
Okay,
can I even trust what
Canada's
you're
not
saying?
communism. It's a mixed market economy. Okay, let's
It's
just
not
start there.
communism.
Okay?
Not
No,
even
it's a
close.
mixed market
It's
economy.
very much
I
like the
get it.
United
I
States.
get it. I get it. But United States does life for me and for people who think like me, who want to be independent of government taking
And
all our
some
money, telling us what kind of education we can have. We want to be independent from
telling you
the
what kind of
government.
education you can have. You can do anything you want here. And in
Rick,
fact, and post-secondary education in this
no,
province
you
where I
can't.
live is actually easier to access, and it's
Yeah,
less expensive, and you can get a stellar education,
yeah. My
university, community college, trades. It's
maybe
all
when you were
available right here.
maybe when you were my age, my kids, I
No,
got
it's
I got I
available
got
right
three.
now.
Listen, I
There's
have triplets. Rick, this is a great example. I have triplets.
yeah.
So great, case study, not just one kid, three kids, totally different personalities and everything. Second grade in Texas, they are testing certified retarded. They are. They're pre-K. They are so slow. That's actually the word that's being used because they're so slow, Rick. They are pre-K at Texas level, and in
I
Canada they were meeting requirements. You know why they were meeting requirements? Because they don't have A grade, B grade, C grade, D grade. Everyone gets a participation trophy in Canada. You will not get the education
what
in
city
Canada that
were
you get
what
in the
city
United
were
States.
you living in? Where were your kids going to school in Canada?
Victoria, British Columbia, to a
Mhm.
private school. A
Oh,
private school.
okay.
Okay.
Well,
And they are testing at pre-kindergarten in Texas.
see.
So
I was
communism,
earlier today in preparation for this. I was looking at some statistics, and Canada actually has a higher literacy rate than the United States,
well, believe all the statistics you want if they're
and
published online,
Ontario
but
has
I'm
a higher
telling you from
literacy
lived
rate
experience.
than Texas.
You know why
Did you
truth
have your
matters less
triplets
to me is because the truth that I'm told is supposed to be truth doesn't align with my experience. My
but
experience
that
in
doesn't make it
Canada is the
wrong.
government decides more of my life each year. I pay higher taxes and I have less personal control over the
But you
outcomes
get more,
of my life.
and yeah,
Housing is treated like a
and
policy tool.
I'm very much for lower taxes, and I want less government intervention and so on.
Then don't vote, don't support
But
liberals anymore then, because it ain't going to get you anywhere.
I'm just bringing you the information. And so here in Canada, yeah, we pay higher taxes, and there's some pros and cons to that. But when you're paying more taxes, you get more social programs, you get more supports. We have a pension program up here, the Canadian Pension Plan, which, when you compare what's available at the end of things here in Ontario versus Texas, it's a little bit better at
You
the
know
end of
who's paying
things.
for your pension? You know who's paying for your pension?
Mhm.
People like me. You love facts and data. Look up how many millennials and Gen
What
Z
do you
it's going
mean
to take
you're
to
paying
pay.
for my pension?
So if you look at the taxes that millennials and Gen Z pay
You're talking
right
about
now,
the
I think,
unfunded liabilities? That's bullshit.
I mean, I'm just telling you the
No,
taxes that we
you're just
pay.
you're making things up. That's not the way the system works. And that's also why
Okay,
Canada is not a communist country.
enlighten me, because all I can tell you is, going back to what I said about the
Because,
economic
I'll
ladder
tell you
being
why.
10 feet off the ground, is that
Because just
Canadians
like
have lost the most economic mobility of any great
no,
nation on earth.
that's actually not true.
Someone just
Can't
brought up in the chat here that if you had your 5 kids
if
here in
I may,
Canada, you make $3,500.
the way the pension plan works is that because of people like Mark Carney and there's an administrative body that is arm's length from the government that administers the CPP. And it's the investments that ultimately largely fund the unfunded liabilities over time. And while a lot of the conservative influencers, in an effort to gain political ground, even in the last election, and a lot of the 51st staters are crapping all over the pension plan in particular by misrepresenting information and outright lying about it, saying that it's not funded and that there won't be anything left at the end. That is not true. I have to look up the stats on it, but it is already funded well beyond, I think, the next 15 years or so. So it's absolutely viable. And it's like any other it's like any other pension plan out there, whether it's a
15
private plan or
years.
a public plan. The money is invested. That's capitalism. And
Okay,
so
so
when you
not
were
only,
talking the other day,
oh
was
my
it
gosh,
you were talking about BlackRock?
I'm
that's
gonna
an
jump out
example
my
of
window right now.
there are pension funds within BlackRock. So
Right.
those funds
Listen to
are our
yourself,
funds.
man. Come on, you told me you bought your house for $67,000. So not only did you buy your house, no, hold on. Not only did you
my
buy your
first
house
house
for
was
yeah, you told me
$67,000.
67. Yeah, see,
Yeah.
I can say things you tell me over the phone in private too. You
Sure.
told me you paid $67,000 for your house. You used to be able to fill up your vehicle for probably $10 when you were 20 years old. So not only did you buy your house for $67,000,
that's not true.
not only were you
You
able
want
to
to
work a
talk
single
about
job, pay off your
gas?
education, but now there's 15 years on the Canadian pension plan, and I'm supposed to fund a system that I'm not even going to benefit from, and
No,
somehow that's right.
That's not the right. You're not looking at it properly at all.
Yeah, you're saying you got the best quality of life of any
what I
generation
get,
ever.
what you get
Tough
back out of the
bananas for me.
CPP is dependent on it depends on what you put into it. The more you work, the more goes into it, the more the payout is later.
The government spends $90 billion.
If you cash out when you're 60, your monthly payments are less. If you wait until 65, because the money is invested, you end up with larger monthly payments the longer you leave it in. Just as, I have a private pension plan, which was through my employer when I was working in the corporate world with CTV, and I have the CPP as well. And then I have my own private investments through, that I've put away for retirement, mutual funds and other investments too. But all of that stuff is invested. It doesn't mean that you're paying for it.
None of us believe that
those are
invested. None of the Gen Zs or Gen Xs believe there's going to be a CPP when we're around.
That's
why? Because the country was shocked. The country was shocked when there was a $40 billion budget under Trudeau, and now for some reason Canadians aren't rioting in the streets
because
over
Trudeau was spending the money on frivolous
Carney's spending the money, dude. Look at his budget.
And that's
what are you
right.
talking about?
Carney is practicing, if you know anything about economics, this is classic Keynesian economics. And it's because of what Trump is doing that the government is investing the money in infrastructure and in major national projects to build the country up. Just like
I don't know anything about economics, but I know plenty
in the same way
that
both the United States and Canada built the nations by building the railroads at the time. Now you've got major projects for nuclear energy that are going to come online that will pay dividends, highways that will pay dividends. You have investments in AI that hopefully will pay dividends. These are long-term investments that will build jobs and help diversify trade and diversify the economy, which is what we have to do because Trump has adopted this tariff economy.
Diversify our economy by embracing China. Great idea. They've never stolen intellectual property from anyone.
We would
much United States
prefer to be doing, and we will continue to do as much business as we can with the United States, but we will do more business with every country in the world, especially with Europe. We're going to do if we're not
go, hey. All those OG
if we don't have any, if there's no option, then we'll just do that, and we should be doing that anyway, and we will.
No, we shouldn't be. We should be teaming up with the United States because they match
which
our
is why
culture.
People are concerned about what you were doing out with investing that money out in the protest at the ostrich farm because the optics on it are political.
Setting on fire, if anything. Don't say I was investing. I set that money on fire. It's the most embarrassing thing I've probably done in the last 20 years.
But it did, whether you care to admit, and you wouldn't admit this the other night, and I'll use this word tonight instead. You enabled the protest by donating to it. You were an enabler.
Sure, I totally agree. Yeah, this sucks,
and that's okay. And I'm not.
You know what? That's okay.
It is what it is, right?
It sucks. But you're enabling the destruction of the futures
of
Gen Z.
I'm not enabling the destruction of anything.
Not acknowledging that the best thing that we can do
what I'm doing is I'm actually trying to prevent the destruction of the country because the social media influencers that you are also supporting and promoting, and what you're doing, even with your social media posts, is you're shitting on the country. And you're contributing, and you're contributing to the destruction of Canada.
We're in the outhouse.
And the reason you're believing this, in part, David, is because the United States and some other countries too are fueling protests. They are funding protests, even through back channels. This is the way political activism and foreign interference actually works. So that's why there was so much U.S. money pumped into the Freedom Convoy, which became public after time, over time.
Rick,
And there was the organic side of that too, but foreign influence there, which is not appropriate. You have the United States, which is completely inappropriate, pumping or offering $500 million to the separatist movement in Alberta. That's not only inappropriate, it's frankly illegal. But because we're so tolerant up here in Canada, and because we're so close to the United States,
Alberta
we're putting up
loves
with it for
Alberta
now.
loves sending the transfer payments to Ontario. You know what? I think Ontario needs to pick up its ball and go home because we're sick and tired of playing with Ontario.
Yeah, and and
My
that's
personal
also
opinion.
a narrative that is
That's what
being spun up in order to get people to vote for separation.
screw Ontario.
But it's not actually
What's
entirely
Ontario
true.
done for BC? What's Ontario done for
Quite
Alberta?
a lot,
What's Ontario
actually.
done
If
for
you go back
Manitoba?
to the Dust Bowl of the
Tell me how many billions of dollars we get in transfer payments from
Eastern
Ontario.
Canada that bailed Alberta out. If you go and you look at the price
History
crashes,
doesn't matter, Rick, to us. I don't care about history. I care about
you're
feeding my
too young
5
to remember,
kids.
and you talk over people a lot because you're not being
Sorry.
respectful. You should please
Sorry.
stop. And I'll give you time too, as I have.
Okay.
The East has at times bailed out Alberta when we've had, but they have oil booms and oil busts out there. I know that oil it is actually fairly expensive to extract it. And even on the US side, at $50 a barrel, which is where we're kind of sitting right now, it is actually difficult even for US oil producers to make a profit right now. It's kind of on the edge. And if the price dips, the critical price point for Alberta oil is only around $40. And because now we see potentially Venezuelan oil about to come back online and the United States scooping that up in ways that you may or may not agree with, if that oil comes on the market and the U.S. is controlling it, that will reduce U.S. demand for Canadian oil again. We already have to sell. If you're talking about the way the U.S. is such a great opportunity for Canada, but the U.S. actually demands that Canada sell its oil to the United States at a discount because we only have one market available to us, primarily,
build another pipeline.
And that is to the United States.
I agree with
they
that.
get it at a lower price. That's not really fair. If you guys were, if Mr. Trump was really as philanthropic as you would have us believe, he would be, well, that's okay, Canada. We're going to pay a fair market value for that oil, but they don't. They pay less than market value because we don't have any choice. If we want to sell it, we pretty much have to sell it to people like Mr. Katzimatidis.
How much do we pay America for military defense?
How much do we pay America for military defense?
Yeah.
It's a joint.
When's the last time you went to a military base, Rick?
And you see, this is the other thing, because you're so young, you don't understand the history of where the defense goes.
The last time Alberta got an equalization payment from Ontario was the 1960s.
If it wasn't for Canada contributed to the nuclearization of the U.S. military. We were involved with the Manhattan Project. We provided the uranium for the Manhattan Project because we are an ally, a friend, a sibling. Canada is a sibling of the United States. We are joined at the hip, and we have been all along. But it's Mr. Trump who is dividing us. He's the one who wants to take us over, and there's no need because we're already an ally, and we've helped to build the United States up from the beginning, from before Confederation, and certainly since before and after World War II. And we've helped with your defense on every front. We've shared our sovereignty. If do you even know what a Beaumark missile is? Probably not, because you're too young. In the 1960s, we stationed Beaumark missiles up in Northern Ontario and in the north as part of the NORAD defense system during the Cold War.
Rick, you know a lot of facts.
We put nuclear weapons onto Voodoo jets.
But just because you did something
because we're partners, we're friends, we're allies.
Yeah,
but
70 years ago,
you're blowing it all. They're blowing it all up down there, and then you're saying to people here, "Oh, well, we have to join." No, what he wants to do is bring us to heel. He wants to control us and own us. And don't think for one frickin' minute that these U.S. oil companies and Mr. Trump are going to treat Alberta fairly. They're going to go in there and extract the wealth and boost their bottom line, just like they're doing in other countries, including Venezuela. And what the hell do you think is going on in Iran right now with the people out in the streets being shot? You think that's all organic, my friend? Then you just don't know. Or maybe, which is closer to the truth, which is what Joseph from Detroit said the other night when we had a similar conversation, he just doesn't care. because of the political environment right now that has polarized people so much that it's destroyed our relationship, our friendship, our family relationship. I remember when we could drive back and forth across the border just showing a driver's license, the largest undefended border in the world because we were so close. But people like Trump and the people around them, and even you, while you're encouraging people to leave the country, you're blowing it all up. You're destroying it.
And I know it pisses you off,
you
Rick,
don't
but
want
you
a
gotta look at the
relationship.
facts.
Because you're at war with liberalism and you don't even understand it. You can't even define what communism is.
See, the liberals are angry. The liberals are angry. The liberals are very, very angry. But everything you talk about, not everything, but a lot of these points about friendship and all these things and what Canada's done for America, we're talking 1960s stuff. We're talking about, I don't remember because I wasn't born yet, Rick. It has no positive effect on me or my family. But that doesn't matter anymore.
Everything that we have now, and this is what is being blown up now. This is what's being destroyed.
Here's what I can tell you.
But this is something
I left Canada in 2015.
Worked.
Rick, I left Canada in 2015. Okay, right when the Harper government was moving out, I believe, right, and Trudeau was coming in. I lived in the States for 8.5 years. I paid off all my debt, built a family. Then I moved back after finding some success. And 2.5 years, it took 2.5 years for me to nearly go bankrupt until I had to move back to the States. So yes, I can tell you, everybody that's watching your show,
experience and
your
personal experience may vary, especially when it comes to
way better in the States than you will ever do in Canada right now. And maybe you get to move back to Canada like I did. Maybe you'll find some success, and then you'll be like, you know what? I'm willing to pay.
There's plenty of opportunity.
40% in tax, and you'll be able to afford to move back. But right now, if
you want to get ahead, you're spinning up this extreme picture. And
it's not extreme, it's facts.
The social media influencers that you are connected to, the people who are promoting the bridge, and you have, who have a vested interest, a financial interest in being extreme and portraying Canada as a shithole country.
Yeah, the ghost of Canada doesn't
while
exist.
Simultaneously portraying Texas or in other parts of the U.S. as some sort of a mecca or a utopia.
You're clinging to a ghost. You're clinging to the ghost of Canada.
David, how much did it cost to have your triplets in the States, or were they born in the States? Your
I paid $14,000 on a $1.4 million hospital bill. We were in the NICU for 78 days. We had something like 17-ish people, and counting the doctors in the delivery room. We had, multiple time a week appointments. We paid $14,000. We didn't have to pay it all up front. It was part of our health insurance on our deductible. And it was a $1.4 million 78-day stay. We had a private room that was probably around 800 square feet, free meals delivered anytime we wanted. It was like living in it wasn't like living in a resort. It was terrible. But, but it was, in terms of watching your 2-3 pound babies, suffer. But it was wonderful that I could pick up the phone and get free food delivered anytime. And I had great staff, and I had, anything I needed. I was nice that when my son had a medical emergency the other night, we went into the ER and we were in a room within a matter of moments, minutes.
Do you mind me asking, do you get to choose your hospital, or does your insurance provider choose your hospital?
So the way it works is you've got 3 different kind of levels. You've got specialists, you've got what we call urgent care, and you've got the ER. Okay, so I'll start with the ER. So when you go to the ER, they have to treat you. Now, the ER can be expensive if you have money to pay it, but if you have no money, they have to treat you at the ER, period. You can't even give them health insurance at the front desk. You literally go in, they have to treat you, and then after they've treated you, they'll collect your ID, and maybe you'll get a bill and maybe not. That's the ER.
You'll get a bill.
That's available.
And it can destroy you financially, even just going to the ER. I know that.
No, that's a lie. Because
that's not a lie, because you're talking to somebody who did a documentary series comparing the U.S. and Canadian healthcare systems, and specifically, I was down in Texas doing it.
Yeah. So I do know. There are cases where you can go to the ER and be terribly affected financially if you don't have any health insurance.
And beyond that, David, I've also gone through the Texas healthcare system myself, so I have firsthand experience with it as well. And I can tell you that the care that I received was world class, like probably the best in the world. I had probably one of the best doctors when I had an emergency and I had to have my gallbladder out when I was down there just a few years ago. So it was like fantastic. But I can also tell you that had I not handled it in the way that I did, I would have been destroyed financially. I had insurance, for instance, but when you go through, I learned something, and I was lucky. I had the presence of mind that I when I went in, because I was in such pain. Well, first of all, I did get a big bill for the ambulance ride, which was delivered to me even back in Canada. So there's a huge bill for that. And I had to go to an urgent care clinic, which I also got a big bill for, because that's not covered. But then when I get to the hospital, you know what they did to me? Because it's all profit driven. They sat me down and they let me wait and wait and wait while they put a nurse on me and another person. I don't know what her position was, but they were putting a form in front of me that they wanted me to sign. And they were urging me and pressuring me to sign this form. Had I signed that form, I would have been on the hook for the entire bill. But I said, no, you have to talk to my insurance company first. You have to wait for the approval to come through. But they didn't want to wait. They wanted me to pay the full pot because they would have received more money. That would have destroyed me financially. But they had this huge incentive to get me to sign on that line while I was in pain and potentially not even in my right mind, because it was like I was in a incredible pain before I received any care of any kind. Finally, it took a couple of hours before the approval came from the insurance company back in Canada. And this is after, long time at urgent care.
I would love to see more on that, Rick, because I've been in the hospital
and so now once the insurance company approved it, everything was cool. Then I went right in. I got this great care. I was the best technology, and it was stellar. I was actually a rock star at the hospital. The nurses loved me because I was a Canadian, and so they kept coming in to talk to me. I don't know what it was.
We love Canadian.
That was down in San Antonio. And so I can't say enough about the staff in the hospital. You're right. The care was fantastic, and it's great if you have insurance. But if you don't, you can go work
at Bucky's gas station for $21 an hour and get health insurance. Okay, if you can get health insurance, not having health insurance,
and there's different levels of it. And I can tell you too that,
Angie.
Yeah, and I can tell you too that when I was doing the healthcare series, I also talked to a lot of people who in ER they had sometimes long wait times, sometimes not, because it's all about truth and balance. And here in Canada, that's also the case. And whether you wait or you don't wait, I'm highly critical of the Canadian healthcare system. But here in Ontario, we have a conservative government, and they've made incredible improvements to the service here in Canada.
Did you just call Ontario having a conservative government? I'm just gonna.
The Ontario provincial government is you look it up. It's a conservative government.
Yeah.
And it is. And because of that, they've injected more privatization into the healthcare system here. And it's because of people like liberals. Do you even know who David Peterson is? Do you know why the Ontario healthcare system kind of?
I know who Jordan Peterson is.
What's that?
He loves America. So I know who Jordan Peterson is, and he loves America.
Yeah, he certainly does. But no, David Peterson was one of the former premiers of Ontario. And a lot of people voted for him because he wanted he did actually cap doctors' wages. And because of capping doctors' wages and exerting market control, price control, essentially, because healthcare bill budget was out of control, he comes in as a liberal. He demonized the doctors. People voted for him, and a lot of doctors left the province because, as a liberal and exerting control over wages and telling doctors you can only make this much money no matter what, a lot of them left the states, and that's why we ended up.
He was a liberal, right?
Yeah,
he was a liberal, right?
So I'm highly critical of those kinds of things.
Yeah. So why not just support Gen X and Gen Z? And
I do support Gen X and Gen Z.
Well, you don't, because you're telling them they need to be happy with the life that
no, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is there is opportunity here, and things
there isn't.
You have, and we can correct problems, and there are always problems. I don't want to destroy my country because we've had, say, 10, even 15 years of decline because we've had a crappy prime minister. And when
can you share my screen? Can you share my screen? Is that possible? Would you be so kind to do that? Yeah.
But I just wanted to speak to this in regards when Canada.
This is what's available for you. This is what's available for you in Chatham, Ontario. The the great place to live at Chatham, where you can build a life with your 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom house for $224,000.
Yeah, well,
You cannot build. I hear you
that
say one
property,
more time that you can build a life in Canada.
you're picking a pimple.
Oh, let's just look. No, let's look
Yeah.
at all of them. You said you
The
told me on the
average
phone
the average home
$300,000.
price in Chatham is about
Yeah, let's
$380,000
look at these
Canadian.
beautiful homes
And make
in
sure that
Chatham.
you make sure you're converting your currency too, and the cost
I will.
and the price of the
I
money.
will. I will. I will. Okay. Yeah, because if I convert it from US dollars to Canadian, that house isn't going to be 224,000 US. It's going to be 350,000 Canadian. It's going to be even worse. Rick, I think it would be great, Rick, if you could give us analogies and facts and data that didn't come from
I'd
1960s.
be grateful if you would just give us some truth and balance and accurate perspective instead of
balance,
I think I can speak to the fact that it is challenging in Canada right now. I don't think anyone who's on any political side of the spectrum will disagree with that. There are challenges. The cost of living is skyrocketed. I live in BC where we have a sunshine tax. If I wanted to go buy my house right now, it'd be $1 million house. The medium house in Kelowna, I think, is about $900,000 right now. So it's definitely a challenge, and you can't just do that on one income. But
wonderfully affordable Chatham. Share my screen, Rick.
But
wonderfully affordable.
Speaking to the insurance part, David, I just want to explain to you what happens when we come down to the States. When my mom had kidney stones, we had to call the insurance company when my mom was in pain to find out which is the best hospital for her to go to. She can't just go to one. So maybe you have a different sort of healthcare. And this is a personal question you don't have to ask, but how much do you pay for healthcare there a month with 5 kids? Or is it part of your family program?
So healthcare is offered by employers. So typically, if you have a job, that employer will or will not offer healthcare, and the employer pays a balance. Sometimes, like if you work for UPS, so if you want to go be a truck driver for UPS and you want to drive one of those little brown trucks, you're going to make 6 figures. They're going to pay 100% of your healthcare and give you a matching 401k up to, I think it's 5% of your income. I know the company I work with right now, 5% of my income. So if I put in 5%, they'll match it for as long as I work there. But in where I'm at now, $545,000. I don't know if Rick has shared my screen yet, but $545,000, the wonderfully affordable Chatham, Ontario, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,200 square foot house. I'm gonna pull up an equivalent right here. Just
depends
Houston.
on the neighborhood.
Excellent neighborhood. 545 grand for you to raise your family, your 5 kids.
I think I know where that is.
1,200 square foot house, right? So that's the wonderful life you're going to be offered in Canada, okay, in wonderful neighborhood, okay. Now let me show you what you can get just in Houston, all right. So just in Houston, okay. I'm just trying to pull this up here. Realtor.com. There you go. Realtor.com. Let's see what kind of life you can build in Houston. I mean, this is just the very first thing that shows up. Here you go. Here's a home, 318 grand. Okay, it's on a half an acre, 5,500 square foot house. It's been $58 a square foot. Okay, 19 days it's been on here. Okay, it's part of what they call an HOA, which is a homeowners association, which means you're landscaping, you've got security patrols, you got stuff like that. Is there a thing for their schools? I bet you the schools is crap. I bet you is what it is. Schools is probably crap. Yeah, it's a crappy school neighborhood. So that's probably why it's so cheap. Typically the school districts, they call them an ISD or independent school district.
It actually says foreclosure on it too, by the way. So that might be a little bit different.
Well, still 318 grand. I mean, it's pretty hard to go by. Here's another one. Look, 200. Here's what you get for 254,000. There you go. All you hippy dippy OG liberals. There's a great house. 254 grand. I mean, give me a break, Rick. You're not gonna. You can say you can build a life in Canada, sure, but it's not a life I want to build, and it's not a life that basically everyone I know.
Except that David, you're giving us these examples when the market right now is at a high, it's at a peak, and it's overinflated, and it's going to come down.
It's inflated in the States too, man.
No, it's not. It's not
Sure it
in
is.
Texas. It's not going through that same kind of
I disagree, man.
market bubble. In Canada, we have it because there's too much demand and not enough supply, and that is something that we are, as a country, going to have to deal with, and we are dealing with it. That's why Polyev had his housing plan. That's why Carney has his, and Carney's actually is more market driven because he is an economist.
Yeah,
and he's
so
more, and it's
2011
a
to
more
2020,
conservative plan, and it
76%
will work.
increase in housing in
And
Texas.
it's also going to preserve the values of some of the higher end houses because they're building primarily starter homes to help the Gen Zers get into the market. Just like when I got my house, the reason I was able
They're
to buy
doing
a
a
house
great
for
job of that. All the Gen Zers will tell you how
yeah,
great of a
they would. Yeah, they're going to help
all the
people
Gen
get
Z will
their
tell you
first
just how
home.
great of a
Just
job.
like when if you will permit me, I was able to buy my house for $67,000 for a few different reasons. One of which was because they came up with a program to reduce the minimum down payment for a first-time home buyer, and they also, through Canada Mortgage and Housing, provided a mortgage assistance plan for first-time home buyers as well, with lower interest rates. And
I agree.
And so they're doing something very similar.
Canada, no, they're not, Rick.
Yeah, they are under the new plan. That's exactly what they're doing.
The new plan is Gen Z's effed, and the millennials
that's
and Gen Z
you
are going to
being
pay for the OG
extreme again
liberals
and not recognizing that markets go up and markets go down. Markets will adjust and problems can be fixed. There's always problems. There always will be. And sometimes there are booms, sometimes there are busts. 2008, everything turned into a bust.
If you don't go into the trades, I think that's a definite issue. So, in my opinion,
if I may too, just to come back to this, why do you think everything went to hell in a handbasket in 2008? It's because of what happened in the States. It's because the deregulation, and not only, actually, it was because of excess government regulation at the time that was forcing banks to lend money to people who couldn't afford mortgages for homes just like the ones you're showing us, who couldn't afford them, but they were forcing the banks to give those loans out anyway to try to keep inflating the housing bubble. And then they came out with derivatives and all kinds of other things on mortgages where it just kept building and building until it got to the point when it finally burst. It caused one of the worst financial crashes since the Great Depression. And the effects of that came all the way up here to Canada too. And that wasn't Canada's making, that was on the US side. But over time, things turn around, things recover. And when you've got a bust, there's always opportunities to as well. So there's a balanced way to look at this stuff. It's not a zero-sum game. It doesn't mean that when things reach a certain point that prices don't come down or don't go up or things can't correct, and things do correct over time.
That Canada does not exist anymore. It doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
And I know it doesn't. You love to cling to this ghost of the 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s Canada, and it doesn't exist.
Just make stuff up. And yeah, you're hoping that Mr. Trump is able to create this new world that he's
you know what Mr. Trump just did? He just banned corporations from buying houses. That's what Mr. Trump just did. You know what Mr. Trump just did? He just came out with a huge plan to cut shitty food out of there's no more food pyramid. He just destroyed the food pyramid, said it's a corporately run thing. You know what Mr. Trump is doing? He's putting America first beyond what's happened in the past. See, the people
Trump
who need help right now
shit from other countries. Mr. Trump
Mr. Trump's capturing dictators.
Putting it's such a great place to live that
it is.
It's such a great place to live, the United States, that in order to he's got troops on the streets.
Yeah,
that's not
because you talk about paid protesters. You want to complain about paid protesters in Canada?
Let's complain about paid protesters. That's a great idea.
Let's talk about that.
No, so I honestly would. I just don't have a ton of time. I would
because suddenly we've got something that might
we have you here.
Be a bit of a problem.
So some of the money, my understanding is you were paying protesters to be at the Universal Ostrich Farm. Apparently a bus was coming and they were going to get paid $100 a day.
We did a bus, we did fuel cards, we did cooks got paid. We did what else did we do, Angie? We did a bus, we did fuel cards. We brought a First Nations community out there who did a pretty beautiful ceremony.
That completely offended all
did,
of the indigenous folks in our Silix Nation.
It wasn't my idea. People just said, "Hey, let's do this," and I was like, "Sweet."
3 people from Manitoba came, and it literally outraged.
So you don't think so? And here's the larger point.
We can talk about the farm. Just remember, the farm was a shit show. I was brainwashed. I apologize.
I know, but it just
and I'm the one that lost money, not you.
But David, you are sitting here complaining about paid protesters, and what did you do? You paid protesters.
Yeah. How did that work out? How does that ever work out?
Yeah, but you did it. You're
complaining about conservative paid protesters,
and you paid a protest that has been disruptive and damaging to the trust in our institutions. That protest really actually serves your purpose politically and financially, I think. And you're sitting here promoting people moving to the States while you've been, just like the influencers, really being pretty negative about Canada. And there's a motive behind it.
Canada's failed.
That's your position. That's your view. That's your political view.
Very good to you. It was very good to you.
And I don't even know if you're being honest with even your view on it, because you have a motive. You're just like the influencers. You're influenced by the politics and the money, just like the protesters were influenced by the money. They stayed.
I am influenced by the money because I pay 50 cents a liter for fuel. Gallon of milk's $2.29. Eggs is $3. I can go buy 4 steaks for like $19 at Walmart. My kids get an amazing education and great lunches.
Potatoes for $1.76.
Yeah,
I got them for 99 cents.
Kids.
Feed
5 kids with those potatoes. I mean, give me a break. The cost of living in Canada is so outrageous that no Canadian should have to stay there any longer.
And in the U.S., people are suffering from inflation.
There is a way out. There is a way out. The cost of living is way less than America, and you can go back to Canada. I'm not saying ditch Canada.
No, actually, if you do the analysis and you look at the U.S. and you look at Texas and Ontario, at the end of the day, it depends on the personal situation of people, and it's not that dissimilar. At the end of the day, because even though housing might cost you more, or you might have a higher cost over here,
I'm just going to keep talking. People like you want to keep the slave generation.
People like you are lying about a lot of things to achieve your political goals.
In Canada, paying all this
people like you are political activists.
You guys in your old age and keep your housing.
You talk over people all the time.
And we're sick of
it. Hey, gentlemen, let's reel this in, shall we? Sorry to be the adult in the room, but here, what I think to be true, because I'm 50 years old, thank you, is the issue I see, as I think you're both right, but the actual truth of it all is probably in the middle. Like I think
I'm in the middle. I'm not disputing a lot of what David is saying.
And I'm agreeing with a lot of support for both. Like I have there's 19 of us here online right now. Yeah. I'm sure there's more on yours, but in our little tickety talk chat that we got going on here. But the thing is those who are old, do you mind me asking what year you bought your house, Rick?
Our first house, that would have been back in probably the 90s, late 90s. Yeah, in Windsor.
So my house has tripled in value in the 13 years I've owned it. So if I wouldn't have bought then, if I tried to buy anywhere else, I actually couldn't buy a house in Edgewood right now with obviously the funds that I have for this house, right? So, and I love Edgewood, don't get me wrong. If I could retire rich there, I always said I was going to come there, work at the store, and retire there. Yeah. But I think the point is you guys are both kind of right in this. And the younger generation are struggling, but they're also doing some really weird shit. They're buying $170, $1,000 worth of truck and toys rather than investing in it. They're not getting a trade. There's a lot of people dreaming.
I don't know anyone my age able to buy a $170,000 truck. I'll tell
I said and toys. Right, dude, I live in the Okanagan. Everyone who's renting a house legit has a brand new truck, a Duramax, and a sled, and has motorbikes and does whatever because they think they can't afford a house, so they look pretty when they drive around in the winter.
See, I say everyone.
That's the issue.
Everyone, he lets it go.
Pardon me?
I said I say everyone does this, and Rick will pounce on me, but you say everyone, and he'll let it go. But to the 102 people watching, I come from a
small town, and anyone with a trade legit has a brand new a truck. I wouldn't say brand new, but within the last 5-7 years, and that they cost a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah. Well, to the 103 people watching,
it will not be a mistake for you to move to the United States. You will build a beautiful life there, and you can come back to Canada when you've paid off your debt and help all the family and friends you like. And hopefully at that time, the Liberals and their crazy budgets are gone, and people like Rick can come back and say, you guys were right. The life that we were giving you, the life that we passed on to your generation sucked. And maybe we'll get an apology out of that, being told that we should be happy in a country that's literally left us behind. And Rick, I got a lot of respect. I got a lot of respect for the history and the knowledge that you know about how much Canada helped the United States and how we've been a sibling and we've been an ally. But that it doesn't exist anymore. That Canada is a ghost. It's a ghost of Canada past, and you know,
you dishonor the country. You dishonor everybody that comes when you speak like that.
I'm sorry.
They came
I'm
before.
sorry, man.
You dishonor the future that this
Can I ask,
country
though,
has.
how much do you get as a
Gen
kickback
Zers.
from the bridge?
It's disrespectful, David.
I get zero. In fact, I get zero. In fact, I've said anybody that signs up with the bridge and actually gets through the consultation progress, I'm willing to help them financially move here. Like if you get through the process with the bridge, I'm willing to help you financially move here. Not much, but I'm willing to at least throw a deck.
You're going to financially help people who want to sign up with the bridge yourself personally.
Yeah.
How many people are you going to do?
I don't know. I would say the first 1,000 people I would help out.
So a friend of mine just messaged their truck is $140,000.
How are you going to help them? Because they get a discount when they go through you.
No, because what's going to happen is like any other organization, there would be an affiliate link, and I will personally, through my pocket, match that affiliate link. So they would get the advertisement.
Well, this is a great ad, but that's not really why we're here tonight.
I will
just
personally
give you a free
match.
ad for the bridge.
Well, I'm not getting anything out of it, Rick. I'm trying to sponsor people who genuinely deserve a better life.
Okay.
You can't afford $250 for a consult, and you've got a legitimate reason to move there. I'm willing to help you do that.
Well, that's great, but and that's fine. And you guys do have the legal right to do what you're doing. I'm not saying that, and I see positives and negatives on both sides, and but what there is a legitimate concern about, and the legitimate concern even coming from the admin of the Universal Ostrich Farm exposed group or whatever it's called, that lady. It's a legitimate concern to highlight your activity, to highlight your money, and to highlight your politics, which are clearly aimed at destroying Canada.
No, they're aimed at helping Canadians.
No, it's aimed at destroying the country. And because this is the other thing, as with your mindset, and including with a lot of people in the States right now on the MAGA side. As much as it pains me to say that, because I've been so supportive at times of all of that, but you're going around trying to save people that don't really want to be saved. And you're saying that everybody wants to go to the States. That is not true. But those who do want to go, because we are in a free country, they're free to go just as you have.
No, they're not.
They're free to go. They're absolutely, anybody can leave.
No, you have to immigrate legally.
Yeah, you have to immigrate legally, and then if you want to pay the bridge $20,000 or whatever ultimately the bill will end up being, then that's fine. And if you want to go build a life down there, then you can do that. I
immigrated my entire family to the United States for like $7,500.
Yeah. So okay. Well, it depends on whether you get the gold glove or the white glove treatment.
No, well, the gold glove is more
regardless. You're not here just. You're here. You are a very difficult person to interview because you don't stop talking.
Okay.
And in our first interview, you didn't really answer any questions. You, again, kind of promoted and just brought a narrative or whatever it was you wanted to say. You were a person who came on here who did for an interview, but you didn't want to be interviewed. And now you're here not to be interviewed again, but to promote and just spread a narrative again, because you're not really
promote hope. I'm promoting hope.
You're promoting a business, and you're promoting the destruction of the country because it serves your purpose. And it's because you just have this mindset that somehow you're going to save all of the Canadians, or you're going to save Canada by destroying it. And that's not what we want. And it's because you have this very stilted, you're a stickler for destruction.
No.
Yeah,
No,
that's exactly what you're doing,
Canadians
David.
deserve hope, and the OG Liberals aren't going to ever give that
The
to them.
OG liberals. How about the people who just have no respect for anything that's come and no respect for anything that people are trying to build?
Yeah, build what?
It's up to
$90 billion
Canadians to
budgets?
decide their destiny.
$90
We're
billion
a sovereign
deficit for
country,
building?
and people can choose their own path, as people in any sovereign country should be permitted to do without foreign influence.
Yeah, we're a sovereign country that thinks Ontario gets to screw everyone on the West, and that everyone on the West should be paying high taxes to support
That's
Ontario.
not
And
that's
that-
that's
and
that's
that-
a narrative and a picture that's being painted that is not accurate.
I mean, I'm just saying from personal experience.
That's not to say that Alberta doesn't inject a substantial amount of money into the budget, because they do. But even if they leave, Canada can still remain a viable country. We have all kinds of other resources and productive capacity here, even in Ontario. And in fact, Ontario produces more than Alberta does and contributes more to the economy overall than Alberta, because we have such
The
a
last
much
transfer
more
payment
diverse
Alberta got was in the
economy.
1960s.
So can I
Pardon me?
ask something? David, why did you want to come back on this program? What did you want to share with us?
I like Rick. I like talking to him. He's easy to talk to. He lets you say what you want to say. And he's easy to talk to, and I like having discussions with people I don't agree with, because I think if we can't sit down and have civil discourse and disagree and explore issues, then we're definitely hooped. And I think it's really sad that Rick has this attachment to old Canada, and for some reason thinks it still exists.
No,
and
I
I'm
don't. I
telling
have an
him,
attachment to the future. I have an attachment to my country
then why
and to
not?
the future.
Then why not? Why not do everything you can to get conservatives elected, who are the only politicians actually adopting the things that happen in the United States?
I would like to have a conservative government again, for a lot of different reasons. But you guys who have, you know why you lost? Because of your friends, the social media influencers. That's why you lost. You thought you were going to win with them, but you lost because of them. And do you know why you lost? Because all they did during the entire campaign was shit on Canada.
Yeah, no, we lost because
you lost because they shit on Canada, and
because Mark Carney danced like this.
No, because
why we lost.
I saw too much of that from the social media influencers.
Yeah,
too much
we
of
lost
that,
because
and
Mark
too
Carney,
much
the
of
world WEF
Canada is a
banker,
communist
came in and
shithole.
saved the
Repeated
day
over
from
and over
Trump.
again, just like in your promotional
Yeah,
campaigns.
that's why we
That's
lost.
why. So you alienated a lot of the conservatives, because they do care about their country and they do want a future for the country. We are building a future for the country, but
No, we're not.
But people like you who are just negative about it and so extreme, and are working to actually tear it down, you just alienated them. Yeah. That's why Poilievre lost, and he thought he had to go further over to that side in order to capitalize on what he thought was some sort of a big wave, because your social media influencers using the system that you guys are using, it looks like you have really big numbers online. But I'll tell you, just because you've got big numbers online and people are watching, it doesn't mean those people necessarily agree with you. I have a lot of people who watch on all of our platforms. Some of them agree with me and a lot of them don't. And a lot of them are there to actually tear me down. And so too was the case with these people on the conservative network that you guys have put together.
They also get paid.
It's not a network; they're independent. But listen here. We're all.
But hold on. I just want to speak to this for a minute. They get paid on points, shares, and clicks. They're no different than CBC, so they create a narrative, and we've seen that. Everyone can admit that. Anyone who's been watching Rebel News, which is our right-leaning conservative bullshit news source. They actually have created stuff. They scream and yell at RCMP when they know that there's no bloody way a PR person is there to talk to them. And that is my experience with the on right conservative podcasters. None of them has asked for the information. I've sent it to everyone. I've had other people send it to them. And there's literally no traction on this because there's no story in it. So how can we even talk about the ostrich farm and the truth about the ostrich farm getting out there, sent it at all your pals, when there's just no interest because there's more clicks and shares if you talk about how horrible the government is, how anti-government it is. That's the freaking truth on that front.
They're not my pals, dude. They're everyone's pals. Okay.
Well,
Go
you
watch
told me
Clyde's
that
show on
you're going to have
Friday.
a
Go
conversation
watch
with
Clyde's
two of
show
them.
on Friday, and you can go ahead and talk to Clyde all you want. He'll respond to everything you need to see. Go watch him talk with Marty on Wednesdays. They'll respond. You seem to think that this YouTube community is some like clandestine behind the scenes thing. They're Gen X and millennials and Gen Z, some of them, that are covering the news because we're sick and tired of hearing the talking heads. No offense, Rick. I know you were really good at that back in the day and that was your thing. But we're sick and tired of being told what we should believe. And the same stories are covered every single day, and you have equal access to anybody in the media now, way more access to independent media, which is blowing it away and doing a great job.
Except they're not independent.
All recognize,
they're not independent at all. And even Maxime Bernier will tell you that these people
just because they're
paid.
not broke doesn't mean they're not independent.
And when you're saying that they're not some sort of clandestine network, well, maybe I'll have to deal with that in the days or weeks ahead, because, and we've already shown here, and I'm not saying that any of these specific people might be part of it, but we've already shown here on this program that in fact, there is a group of influencers that are part of a clandestine political network.
No, that sounds like fear.
No, I've shown the evidence, and I'll bring more in the days, weeks ahead.
David, you literally told me
if you want to know what, like, there was a thing out there called Fight Club, and there's evidence. I've got the receipts, man.
Okay, so here's my suggestion to you, Angie. Go to conservative party conventions and go meet these people. Go to the Pierre Poilievre rally in Nanaimo.
That's the thing there, you see, David, because you're saying right there, go to the conservative events.
Yeah.
Because they are conservative podcasters.
Yeah.
And they're not balanced. And because no, they're not balanced. And because they have adopted the same mentality as you, they're quite ready, willing, and are engaging in lying.
They haven't adopted the mentality. They've seen the same things I've seen. You guys you guys got to understand this. 8 years I lived in the States. 8 years I lived in the States. I came back for 2.5. I've just moved back again. I lived in Canada my entire life before that. I have seen firsthand what America offers people that are legally allowed to be there. And I've seen firsthand what Canada offers my generation firsthand. And it changed from about the year 2000 forward. That Canada was gone. The good Canada where your kids would go out and play and you could afford to buy a home and you could afford to grow a family, that Canada died right around 9/11 when all the big changes happened. And you guys in the 50s and 60s and 70-year-olds want to say that it's still around. And I'm telling you, firsthand experience could not be any further the opposite. Well, you're telling us we should be patriotic about a country that's shit all over our generation. And our generation's been screwed.
Okay, David, but you're not.
What?
The United States has its problems too. They're
not as bad as Canada's.
You're being way too extreme. There is opportunity in Canada, and there is opportunity in the United States. And the United States right now is in a lot of trouble. And the United States is a country in decline. The United States has a massive debt of over $30 trillion. Yeah. The United States is stealing shit from other countries. In fact, stealing entire countries because you have a $30 trillion debt. The United States wants to take over Canada, or at least Alberta, because they have a $30 trillion debt. That's a reality. That's what they're doing. And I don't want any part of that. I don't want to steal shit from people. I don't want to live in a country where you have the military in the streets to police people. I don't want to live in a country where people's rights are oppressed while they're telling you that you have freedom. It's a lie.
Well, Rick,
not to say that Canada
isn't. I don't know the last time you lived in the States was, but I disagree with everything you just said, and I live here now. So I disagree with virtually everything you just said. And I think that as much as you want to tell your audience how great it is to live in Canada, and they'll probably believe you, and other people will tell their audience how terrible it is to live in Canada, and their audience will believe them. I can tell you with firsthand experience, if you can legally move to America, if you can legally move to Texas or Florida or Washington State or Alaska, and you want to build a family and have 4 or 5 kids and drive any vehicle you want to drive and live in a house that you want to live in and pay $2.30 or 20 cents for a gallon of milk and be able to buy your bread for $1 and be able to eat good food and enjoy things and go out and watch movies and get on roller coasters and do all kinds of fun things, America can offer that to you on a job that you can be making 60,000-70,000 a year at, and Canada won't ever do that for you. And so, I wish the best.
There's that's again, it's way too extreme.
I'm just spitting facts here, man.
And you know why? You know why they need people from Canada go to Texas? Because it's immigration in Texas that allows the economy to survive and grow.
Yeah, that's wrong
because,
too.
No, that's absolutely true. That's why about 20% of the workforce down there is comprised of immigrant income. I've been looking up stats. It's just because what the average birth rate is in the U.S. in Texas. I was looking up this.
I'm going to guess 2.
Nope, it's 1.6.
1.2.
And in
1.
Canada, up here in Ontario, it's about 1.3. So it's
Canada,
very similar.
And in average in British Columbia, what's it in British Columbia?
There aren't enough children being born, it's immigration that is actually supporting the economy. But you're telling people, see, basically you got to move to Texas because I know, because I've spent quite a bit of time down there. You got to move here because this is a blue state. This is a conservative state. And yet you've got cities where you have Democrat mayors and you have a mix of things, and it's going more purple all the time. It's actually from election to election it's been pretty close. And over time it could even flip to Democrat at some point. And if that happens, then you're going to have a shift in the country. If the United States doesn't break out into some sort of a civil war, because you're so divided politically down there that could actually happen. And there's a real possibility it's going to spill over here into Canada because we're attached politically too. That's a valid concern. Hearing it all the time, seeing it.
If I could just reel this in for 1 sec though. David, you did share with me that you needed all my evidence on the farm, that you've got an army of YouTubers wanting to clear their names and report on this. It will
Angie, what the fuck are you doing right now? Like this.
It will have this.
Keep on talking shit. You just keep on talking shit. You're not a journalist.
Not talking shit because you've said the same stuff to me.
This is what you sent me. This is what you.
What are you after? What are you after?
It will have millions of views by the end of next week because you said today that you don't have contact.
I said if you can organize all these horror stories that you've been telling me, which I believe most of them, if you're willing to organize them and send over the notes, which apparently is a terrible thing to do in journalism, is send someone your notes, which I don't know why that would be a terrible thing to do to get more truth out. If your goal is to get more truth out, share your notes, for goodness sakes. I said if you can organize your facts and data and put it in a way that everyone can see it. If everything you're saying is true, it will probably be seen by millions of people because the things you're telling me are absolutely horrifying.
You said it will have millions of views by the end of next week.
That they're all if everything you're telling me is true.
That they are going to
you're
launch
saying is true,
at the same time. You just got off the phone with one of the most popular ones. We talked for an hour. I'd say over 2 million subscribers between 8 of them. And I said, put me in contact with them.
What's your point?
Not happening.
What's your point?
Because
you're looking at the screen like you're a school teacher and you're discovered
David,
something.
Do you want me to make fun of you and your appearance?
Yeah.
I'm just not.
Yeah, because you're trying to make fun of me right now.
No, I'm holding you accountable.
David is deflecting because
I'm
deflecting because I'm annoyed that Angie hasn't done what she's supposed to do, which is share her notes, and you haven't done what you're supposed to do, Rick, which is share your notes.
Look,
I'm not supposed to
share your notes.
I'm not supposed to do anything.
Share your notes.
It's unfortunate that you got reeled into the ostrich thing, but unfortunately, I think you're kind of just like me.
as I said to you, David,
Sucks balls.
everything that needs to be published, any information that these other social media influencers need, it's all public already. It's already published.
Just send it over. Why make their life difficult?
Because it's all online and it's all organized.
But that's a horrible thing to say. Just don't make people's lives difficult.
I'm not. It's quite easy. All they have to do is go and look at the information.
To support you and Angie's pensions coming up.
You don't need to do that for me, buddy.
Just saying. So
I
mean, look.
Open up your phone, donkey. I've sent them to you twice now. You have all the
now we're talking. Now we're gonna start with the real insults. I'm a donkey. Okay, I'll take it. Eon. Let me be clear. I don't want to see the animals. I got it. Hey, you sent it. You sent it. You sent it. Hey,
how long ago?
Good job.
You already had it.
How long ago exactly? 1 hour and 11 minutes.
Hot diggity dog. I just got a note.
Angie knows how to send the text.
It's been a great commercial for the bridge, and it is now just about 10 p.m.
Yeah, let's be real here for a second, though.
Wrap it up.
Let's be real for a second. So it's been a great commercial for the bridge. They are a fantastic organization. Rick, I truly hope that the Canada you love so much comes back. I really do hope that. I hope that at some point I can move my family back to Canada and we can afford to live there with our 5 kids. I really do hope that happens one day. And Angie, I wish you the best fighting for the people of Edgewood. You're doing, you're putting your heart and soul to it. I don't agree with the way you're doing it. I don't know what you're doing exactly yet, but you did send me those 2 links, so I'm going to go ahead and check that out. Same thing for you, Rick. I do wish you guys the best. Happy to come on here and battle with both of you any time. This is a blast. But thanks for hearing out what my generation's dealing with, and what I truly believe is good and right, because I think what's happening in Canada isn't. So.
And that makes me sad, but thank you for coming on the program. And I do like you. And I actually hate talking to you, but I loved your song. So
listen or talking. You're a very talented musician. I'll give you that. I would definitely listen to you.
Huh? Back in Texas. Just kidding. All right, see you guys later. That was Angus Young for you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, have a great night, y'all.
Take
Bye.
care.
See ya.
Yep. Bye.
He really should have played a song on the way out. That would have been good. Oh, dear God.
He talks fast.
I'm not any smarter.
I'm going to look in the chat for a minute. So my question is, did people get the point of what we were talking about here tonight?
I don't think I got the point.
And the concerns that I know are valid from that lady who wrote the email to me, whether you agree with what's on her page, and I have no idea what's in that group because I'm not there. I haven't seen any of it. But the criticism leveled at me, totally valid. The exact same concerns I have myself. I wasn't sure if I should even touch this story again. So it's an ongoing concern. And even bringing him on again tonight was a concern because I did not want to just give him a platform for a free commercial, because there are valid concerns about what he did out there and the way he's doing it, and concerns about his political activism. And these are valid things because he go ahead.
There's also concern on his own Facebook with his friends all calling him down for it. So it's super interesting. And I respect the fact that he's a conservative Christian. We all have different beliefs. His beliefs do not align with mine. But I also think it's telling. And I know my friends aren't supporting me doing all this. I can tell you that much, because they're sick and tired of it. But I think where my concern is if they are constantly calling down the country, our right-leaning podcasters, pundits, reporters, you name it. They're calling our country down. They're saying the anti-government thing loud and proud. And I'm not saying that I love the government. I'm saying it definitely needs some restructuring, and I believe in less government as well. But if you're getting paid by the same people that are taking people to the States, when you're constantly calling, like, that's an indoctrination. And aren't we all who are conservative or in the center upset with how we believe there's indoctrination on the left? And so we're upset with paid protesters on the left. And then we just experienced they were supposed to be renting a bus and paying people $100 a day to go to the farm. What my concern is I personally couldn't leave my job to go out to get $100. So who is that demographic they were going for? And those are the people that were being encouraged to go to Edgewood, BC, where there's 235 people. The median age is, I think, 63. So you have a bunch of yahoos there, and that is discouraging that a fellow from the United States chose to invest in that way. So that's my frustration.
Yeah, and the larger issue here too is that this isn't about building a bridge. It's about burning down a country. It's about crapping on Canada to convince people to move to the United States. And there's no handshake there. There's no friendship there. That's an extreme position.
Yeah.
And that's clearly not truth. You know, more history. You go back to the earliest days of both Canada and the United States, when Europeans were settling here. What brought them here? Propaganda. Also, a desire for freedom, often religious freedom, because of persecution back in Europe, depending on where they came from. But there were advertising campaigns where they were painting a picture of the New World as some sort of utopia, where you could sail off on a ship and get to the New World, to a new life, and it would be smooth sailing and a moderate climate and rich soil and farmland that would just produce abundantly, and it would be an easier and freer life. And when people got here, they found out that it wasn't quite the way it was described. A lot of people, actually, first settlers, died. And they had, and just like I've said with my dad, right? It's important to know what your history is, because that'll tell you where you're going and how you can get there if you honor it and learn it.
They also advertised to the Americans to come and skip the border so you didn't have to go to war, right? So there's all of these things where you can you can love your country, you can appreciate it, but we have personal friends that are originally Americans that dodged the draft, right?
Yeah. And look, I mean,
I just highlight the Edgewood community clubs and such that Lois would like to encourage. Are you okay if I do that right now?
I'm sorry, what was that? You want to
just to promote the Edgewood Community Club?
Okay. You know what? I do need to take a quick break.
Sure.
We'll come back, and then you can do that.
Perfect.
Because I do have a little bit of stuff to wrap up with on the other side. So you do that, we'll come back, we'll do the other thing, and we'll see where that goes. But we're getting near the end, and we're saving the best for last.
Ooh.
Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, well, we'll have to wait for Angie. We'll be right back. Hang on.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on Earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching. The world is watching. On TV,
the entire world is watching.
On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching.
Yeah, we're back. Okay, Angie, take it away.
Right. So in regards to people wanting to support Lois, the elderly woman who was allegedly attacked, and the guy is charged with it, a lot of people wanted to help her. And what she has requested is they're going to have a community free dinner appies type night. The community club in Edgewood is going to be accepting the funds for that. They also take care of the cell tower upkeep there. So just so you know, when everyone's complaining about the cell service, they're doing their best. It's not the best in the valley. I can attend to that, but maybe now with everyone, the protesters are almost all of them out of there. We'll have better service there. They're also trying to do a seniors housing project for 10 houses so that the seniors don't have to leave town. If anyone wants to donate, it's Edgewood Community Club Society at gmail.com, as well as the Edgewood Volunteer Fire Department. Also, PALS, the Protecting Animal Life Society. Those are 3 organizations near and dear to Lois's heart, and that's what she asked to support. If anyone wants the details, they can also message me on Facebook.
Okay. That's basically it.
That's it. That's all. Just thanks again for. Well, I don't want to thank you for this one. This is a wild one, but did I expect it to go any different than the last one?
I don't. You know, I leave here tonight. No, we're not gone yet, but I feel empty. I don't feel good about what just happened, and I don't think it had to be that way. I think David thought, and I think maybe the other gentleman too, Sando, I think his name, Presta. I think they were expecting some sort of an ambush or whatever. Truth is, if it had just been a little more cooperative, it would have just gone smoother. I was quite prepared to let them talk about their business, and they can do that. It's not illegal. It's not, but I do have concerns, and because it's not a commercial, it's a news program, a news-based program. It is, these are legitimate questions and concerns. Mm-hmm. Because, and instead of talking over me and trying to control this thing, which he largely did, and I allowed him to do that because it showed what was going on. Mm-hmm. that he's engaging in activity that is, I don't know if it's illegal, but I don't know that it's right. And we have a country that's under attack. He's part of it, whether he's admitting it or not. And he's pleading ignorance, but he knows what's going on. This is why I'm struggling and why I feel so bad, because again, it didn't have to go this way, but he's not being
authentic,
transparent. Right. He's not telling the whole truth. And he's even saying he's quite willing and is making things up, spinning things, because he doesn't care about the truth at all. And that makes me not trust him. And that's important. When you're taking people's money, when you're telling them you're going to offer them a better future.
And then you're also saying, well, I'm going to give you some more money if you apply and you get through the consultation process.
Yeah, which is, I think bunk, because at the end of the day, they're just trying to make a buck. And if they're paying you to abandon your country, your home, to move someplace else, then there's something else going on there too. Because how can he afford to do that? Why would he do that? There's another motive. And yes, they do want people to move to Texas because they actually do need immigrants. They just kind of want a certain type of immigrant. And the people that they're kind of going after fit the bill. And you can fill in the blanks there. Certainly they want skilled tradespeople, but the kind of people they're looking for goes a little bit beyond that too. Because while they're looking for immigrants, they're also deporting people.
They're wanting a certain immigrant.
And, if you want more details on that, I suppose one could dig into his posts.
Well, I shared, it's super interesting that his friends call him out for this. And here's the thing, I had to go to the passport office this week to renew my passport, and my friends were there from Lumbee. They're heading to Texas. I have one girlfriend that messaged me here. They're going to Texas, but they say they're not fleeing. That they're going for, one is going there to hunt hogs, to be transparent. And the other one, is heavily involved in the equine industry, has amazing show horses. And that's the reason they're going there. Yeah. So I think it's a bit concerning. And also too, as anything, we have to get out of our echo chambers. We have to go and listen to the other side. And while I love having these conversations with people, I'm fine if they share their opinion, but you just can't say all these people say. And I'm guilty of that too, saying, one thing when it is truly my opinion. I take responsibility for that. But it is concerning because things are challenging without a doubt. I've had my home now for 13 years. When I first moved in, I didn't have to have, students and roommates and whatnot. Mm-hmm. That's changed. So, I hosted international students for a long time. Now I choose to have people with disabilities in my home. So, but I'm a single, white, never been married, no kids, female. So that's how I choose to make it. And I think also too, in Canada, we have a problem as well. I know we're joking that you're broadcasting this out of your parents' house, because you are, but I think we also have to look at changing the way we live. If you are living in a 5-bedroom house, maybe you should put your parents in the basement of it, or at least someone else. A funny story is I offered to, put my niece and nephew on my house because I don't have kids, and they both said no. And I bet you they're wishing that was a different situation now. So I think we have to be more creative. We can't just complain about something. We have to do it. And if anyone is listening and you do have a heart for people with disabilities, I highly recommend it. They add to your life. And here's a funny thing. It's a tax-free income when you host a person with disabilities in your home. So something to consider. And I shouldn't really call it an income. They're paying room and board. But it's an interesting, that's what I've done. I chose to have international students. I've chosen to have people with disabilities. I understand that's not for everyone, but I think in this day and age, we probably have to live more like the Asians and have the generation staying in a house, because that's one reason why we can't afford things, is because we don't live with them until we're getting married or in a relationship or whatnot, right? Different values.
Well, after all of this, at the risk of editorializing and injecting an opinion, I'm not buying it. We have a gentleman, and I do like David, but I'm not buying what he's selling. Not the bridge stuff so much, but just the overall story. Because this is a political activist who is definitely connected to a network of social media political influencers in a serious way, who told me so, but not here in public. He has been very guarded in the information that he's been bringing forward. He's still in communication and even phoned the farm to have a conversation before coming on this program the first time. A farm that he apparently is no longer happy with. He's a guy who donated $40,000 approximately to a political protest.
He messaged me, it was 60.
And sorry, he said how much? 60? 60,000?
I have a message from him that says 60, yes.
So, okay, 60 grand, 40, 60. It's a lot of money.
Not all from him, by the way.
Yeah, so tried to do that in a way where he was remaining kind of out of sight, anonymous, in the shadows. But he's clearly very interested and active in politics.
He's friends with the MP from Edgewood, as a matter of fact, on Facebook, as well as former Conservative MP's husband here in the Okanagan.
And what he wants me to believe, and you, is that he got duped. He's a businessman. He is clearly very smart. He's politically astute. He feigns ignorance when it suits him. He comes for interviews but doesn't really want to be interviewed. He comes for a second interview and doesn't really want to be interviewed. Just tries to take over and control the platform and use it. Because like so many others, folks, my Maverick family, he wanted access to you. He wasn't here for transparency or for truth. And he even came right out and said that. And yet he would have us believe that after donating all that money, he was brainwashed somehow, that he didn't understand what he was doing, and that now he's really upset and he regrets it. And I'm not buying it, because even as I sit here tonight, and we've learned that the money he, or maybe just we've highlighted the fact that the money he provided enabled the protest. It funded the protest. And this is a guy who claims to be a conservative who's upset and doesn't like paid protesters, but he paid for all the protesters. He paid for a lot of that protest. he did prolong it to the point where the money ran out or was used. And what he didn't know what the money would be used for. You're donating to a protest. And now he's what? What is it exactly that the money was spent on that he's so upset about? Because I'm still not really clear. Oh, it wasn't spent on food. Well, you donated what, $40,000 to $60,000. You thought they were going to buy that much food?
When they had tons of food, they had tons of food.
But even regardless, it was only supposed to be used for food. Well, then I guess you should have thought about that in advance, but they kept coming back to you for money. For why? And he said that, and he kept donating. And he wants us to believe that he got duped. He was too emotional. He was just into the ostriches. I'm not buying that. I don't believe that he was that emotionally distraught that he just kept writing checks. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't have the ring of truth to it. And when asked about it, when someone else raises questions about it, even in an email to me, he just deflects and turns on that. And I talked about this the other night. He's just unapologetic while he's apologizing. He doesn't want to hear anyone criticizing him because he's not sorry at all. It's disingenuous. Oh, I'm sorry. I got duped. I want to make things right. But then when someone expresses their concerns and highlights, the problems that they've had, and they're asking questions about, gee, why are you as a political activist living in the United States funding a protest that has damaged our country, not just the community, but the entire country.
And also got worldwide, international talking points, right?
Because of him. Oh, but oops.
So they put it on the map to make Canada look bad. And I'm not saying people aren't struggling. I'm not saying it's not a challenge.
And now this new business that they have, that they've been building for at least a year and really came online in a serious way in November. Now he's here. And now he's public. Now he's got a forward face. But he doesn't want to answer questions. He's just here to promote. And he's using social media influencers on this network that he is part of, which is a political network, and he's a political activist, clearly. And he's tapping into that same network to promote a business because it's opportunistic. A very American thing to do, by the way. And so I have a lot of concerns, even now. And I'm disappointed again. I do like him in a way, but at the same time, I find him very frustrating, and I find it very hard to trust him. I don't, because he's outright telling us that he's lying to us sometimes. So I can't believe anything he says.
I think my concern is his goal was to pay for the bus and have paid protesters out there. And then what happened is he's saying that they gave away food, fuel cards, and all this. And then I'm like, some people got some money, but not everyone did. And I think that is part of the frustration with the former volunteers is, some people got money, some people didn't.
Just like the Freedom Convoy.
Exactly.
Certain people got money, certain people didn't. Certain influencers get money and other ones don't. You just have to say the right things or provide access, right? And I'm just, for full disclosure, last night he donated $100 to this program.
Oh, I saw it. Yeah, we all saw it. He
and I can't directly refund it through the system, but I feel dirty and I don't really want it.
I'll happily take that for the community club barbecue or whatever we're doing in whatever the Edgewood Community Club is doing.
I'll consider that. I really just kind of want to refund it, and then he can do whatever the hell he wants with it. But I don't want to be compromised. I've told him that. I don't want to be bought. I've been very careful about that. I don't want to do anything that even creates the perception of compromise. There's too much at stake. The country's at stake. And I'm a lone voice, man. Like I don't know if there's many people like me left out there, if there's anybody. And I'm small, and I'm up against that juggernaut, that social media influencer network. And I do know more about it than he knows. And again, I'm disappointed in some of these people because I have lost trust in them, people that I had trust in, and they betrayed that trust. And I don't want to do that with you guys. I don't want to betray your trust or even give you the appearance of that. And so, full disclosure, I saw in the chat last night after I realized after I saw it later that it was him, because I recognized the name. It wasn't his name, but it was like part of a thing that I knew was him. So, not comfortable with it. And tonight, I knew that they would try to turn it into a commercial. I was okay with it to a point because I wanted to illustrate the story and bring the information to you. So that was the price that I was willing to pay to a degree. But I don't want to pay that price by taking the cash. And tonight, I don't know, like this is the thing. This is what he's doing. He's paying everybody. He's buying everybody. And that's what politicians do. That's what gangsters do. They pay both sides. They buy off everybody. Trump does that. Trump used to be a Democrat. Now he's MAGA, Republican, sort of populist. But what big corporations do too is they'll fund a Democrat campaign while they also fund the Republican candidate. And then it doesn't matter who wins. They own them both. So whoever wins, they're compromised and they've got them. That's the way it's done. And I know that out in Edgewood, after funding to the tune of 40 to 60 grand, our friend David has now turned around and said, oh, you know what? Because he's saying, oops, I got duped. And now they're creating what could well be just a fake narrative to stir up a soap opera and continue the story, exploiting even platforms like this. Just keep it all going. And then it's like, well, you know what? Now we've got these upset residents. So you know what I'm going to do? And I know he's done it because you've told me he's donated to some of the people in the community. That's what drug dealers do. That's what gangsters do. That's what politicians do. That's what big corporations do. You buy everybody. You own it. That's what Rebel News does. They buy stories. They pay the newsmakers. They hire them as employees, AKA Tamara Litch. Now nobody else can touch the story. They've got the narrative. They've got the fundraising. It's all theirs. That's what the National Enquirer does. That's what they did with that Playboy model. The Trump
Stormy
was
Daniels?
no the Playboy model, Karen McDougal. They bought her story. It's called story capture, so that the story didn't get out. It's still leaked out, but she only in the interviews she did, it was very light. Because they paid her to basically shut her up. Like they said, your stories are ours exclusively. You can't share it with anybody else. So that it wouldn't embarrass Trump. So that one never got much traction. This is what's done. These are the techniques that are used. This is part of the information warfare. This is what is being used to destroy our country. And while David is a Christian and he's out there to save everyone, and I guess that same mentality extends to his politics, where he says that he wants to save us, save all these Canadians from our tyrannical government. I also see that a lot of what our government is doing is a reaction and has been a reaction to problems, crises that have manifested themselves, that have been thrust upon us. And a lot of it has been the making of the United States. And these social media influencers, paid, or affiliate marketers, they turn around and, just like Donald Trump, they blame the victim. He imposes tariffs, but it's our government's fault that we have economic problems up here, economic struggles. He imposes tariffs. We say, okay, well, if you don't want to trade with us, I guess we'll have to go trade with somebody else. And David and his friends sit there and say, well, you shouldn't do that. And Trump says, you're not allowed to. How dare you do business with China while he's doing business with China? He takes over or imposes regime change and says he's going to run Venezuela and take their oil. Well, the separatists who are getting $500 million from a MAGA slush fund publicly, which is illegal, are sitting there telling all the people of Alberta that Trump is going to come up here and make their lives better, and they're going to live a life similar to what they have in Texas. Way better, freer, lower taxes. You won't have to share anything. Horse hockey. They're going to take it, just like they're going to take the oil out of Venezuela. They're taking it, man. You think that they're going to free you? They're going to take it from you. That is your future. Those resources are yours, but they're not just yours. They belong to this country. And what you have there, as you share, we also in Ontario share back. And yes, some people living up in, I don't know, the far icy north of Nunavut, they don't have as much up there, but they still contribute to our society, to our country, because they're up there defending the North, and we need that defended. Or they're up there working some other job in the ice cold and suffering and not enjoying the kind of life that you're enjoying down in a more moderate climate where there's more opportunity, but they're sacrificing and living up there in order to make sure that we have this magnificent country of ours. But he says that this place is a shithole and that you shouldn't share. Keep it all for yourself. Every man for himself. I get that to a point, and stop being such a stickler. Just let those birds with bird flu go into the food chain, because that's what that means. No rules. Well, we have rules. And we're not thieves. We don't steal things from other countries. We don't steal entire countries. We stick up for the little guy. And when people get sick, we take care of people here. And yeah, maybe we pay higher taxes, but when you get to be 93 years old and you need a hip, you get one. And I know what it's like, because I did go through the healthcare system down there, and he can spin it any way he wants, but there are great things about it, and there are things that are not that great about it. And some people, a lot of people in that society, in that community, in that state, I know they fall through the cracks. They have areas of extreme poverty. It's just a fact. It's everywhere anyway, and they have a lot of problems down there. They do have massive tent cities. And while he sits there and laughs and says, that's nothing, that wasn't nothing. Even that one, and that's not even the largest one, and that's only one in Austin that they have. There are many tent cities in Austin. In my community, there's one. And it's not like that. And our community is building tiny homes to help the people. And so that's a way that we are dealing with it. And down in Texas, they deal with their stuff too. And they are great people, and they have community in their own way, and they deal with their issues in their way. But that's their way. And it doesn't have to be our way, and we choose our way up here. That's what elections are for, and we should be doing that without foreign interference. And we should be doing that in a way where people are not influenced just by money and covert clandestine donations, which pay protesters to create this fake protest. and full of lies. The whole thing was a lie. Every aspect of it was a damn lie. It's still a lie, and people believe it because a lot of information was deflected, not really told, twisted. Oh, you got to save these ostriches to save humanity, and oh my God, what a tragedy, and everyone's tearing up. And they were abusing people all through this, and he facilitated that. He helped it. And
he invested in it.
That's right. He paid for the abuse. He paid for the lies that hurt people honestly with mental illness. And you and I talked about this. There are homeless people out there, and people can downplay that. But at each one of these protests, and the ostrich protest is no exception, a lot of the people out of that thing were homeless. And they're homeless in many cases because they have mental health issues. Not saying names or anything. I don't know the personal circumstances of everybody here, but I know for a fact that there are homeless people there. And that's why they're there. They're there because there's food that he bought or other people bought or whatever, but there's food and resources and there's community, and that's their homeless shelter.
An unwanted one.
Yes. And that's a tent city. He paid for it. Disrupted the community. And the reason he did it is for political reasons, because yes, he wants to tear this country down. So every penny he spent was spent knowingly with an objective. He knew what he was doing. He did it to shit on Canada. I'm sorry, David, but that's what you did. Well, and maybe you've got a mental health issue because maybe you really believe that you're saving people by doing it, but you're not. You're hurting people. You're hurting the most vulnerable people. You're hurting people with mental health issues because they're being subjected to so much weirdness and so many lies, and they're buying into it, and they became emotionally invested on a level that is just twisted, where they're breaking down, having hysterical fits because ostriches got called livestock, not pets. I'm sorry, but it affected people around me. It affected people in our online community here in really negative, terrible, destructive ways, to the point where they're getting upset because I'm telling them the truth, but they don't want to accept the truth. They can't handle the truth because they've been brainwashed so that they become drones for a political protest. His political protest. Well, he's sitting there, oh no, I'm saving everybody. Horse hockey again. I'm not buying it, man. I'm just not buying it. He did it to he wants to because he wants to destroy this. He wants to destroy my home, your home, while telling you that utopia is on the other side. You know who offers utopia? Marxists, communists, socialists, extremists, all through history. They offer you utopia. And you know what you get on the other side? Authoritarianism, no freedom, lies, disappointment. Not to say that Texas isn't a great place, it is. But if you choose to go there, make sure you're making that decision based on real information, on truth, on facts, so that you're making the best decision for your family, not to help with the Canadian brain drain, to raid our labor pool, to try and suck all of the skilled trades out of our country so that we can't build. People that Canada created, Canada educated, Canada trained. Plumbers, carpenters, electricians, smart people, educated in our system. And he said it here. He wants to take as many of them as he can because he wants to hurt this place. He hates Canada, like so many other people today, because they're misguided. And this is a country that gave him everything that he has. But he's just abandoned it. I'm so profoundly disappointed again. And he says that it's because the country that I knew no longer exists, but he is wrong. It is right here. It is right now. We have problems. And our system is built, designed to self-correct, and it is self-correcting right now. There is a lot of opportunity here. We have one of the most educated countries in the world. We have a workforce that is world-class. We have everything going for us. We have resources. We have a future. My son, my daughter are still here. And I want a future for them. That's why I'm here. For them, for your kids, for the future. And because I do want to honor the past. I haven't forgotten it. I've been around the block. I've paid my dues. And it's never been easy. Ever. And there have been times that have been way harder than right now. In my lifetime. In my father's lifetime, for sure. Born on the cusp of World War II. Went to school in a one-room schoolhouse. What did he do? Oh, but David wants 4 cars and $1 million home for half price. And a tax break. And he's telling you that you're going to get better health care in a state where you better have your damn health insurance or you're fucked. That's the truth. Because they don't give a damn about a lot of people because of the politics, the mentality. And that's not because I'm a libtard. That's not because I'm a liberal or an OG lib. It's because I care about people. Because I know that all you got to do is defend a little guy, stand up for what's right, help people around you, and they'll lift you up. I see it every damn day. And I'm grateful for it. I see balance. I see overreach sometimes. All these things we can address, we do. We are. Mark Carney's not Justin Trudeau. Trudeau sucked. Trudeau made tons of mistakes. Trudeau responded to the U.S. pressure. Trudeau screwed us over because he couldn't relate to little people, because just like David, he just didn't have the proper perspective for his own reasons because he was born to political royalty. But I remember other liberals who were actually conservatives. Because it's not enough to just attach a label to it and then therefore dismiss it. He's too young. He remembers Harper, but he doesn't remember Paul Martin Jr. I do. I was there. I remember Paul Martin Sr. Maybe you don't remember Paul Martin Jr. He was only prime minister for about 3 years. But he was finance minister under Chrétien, and he navigated through some very difficult economic times and got this country through. And when he was prime minister, ran consecutive surplus budgets. So don't tell me we can't fix things. This is after the Trudeau era and deficit budgets. And he handed over a robust economy to one Stephen Harper, a conservative, who built on that and made the country stronger too. Paul Martin Jr. was a fiscal conservative while also being socially a classical liberal. Judge not by the label, judge by the actions. We have a future. I don't care whether they carry an L or a C or an NDP or whatever the hell you want to put on them, or a PPC or whatever. I just want my garbage picked up on Tuesdays in a timely fashion, please. And I don't want to pay too much in taxes. And I want you to create the conditions so that my kids, your kids, so this country has a future. In the face of an impossible situation where we have somebody who's gone freaking berserk in the White House and has decided that it's his domain and right to go around and just take what he wants. Even and to pick on friends, beat up his allies. It's not right. And you want people to move from here to go down there to support that? You want to go to a country where here you're upset because protesters in Ottawa were assaulted by police after an extended protest, but you're okay with people getting beaten up and shot in the face? But paramilitary officers who wear masks on the streets, you're okay with that? You want to move down there and participate in that, where due process means nothing and they just round people up off the streets and deport them to frickin' El Salvador and they just disappear people? That's not the America that I know. When things change, maybe. I used to want to move to Texas. I sure as hell don't want to move to Texas or any place in the United States right now because I've lost trust. I haven't lost faith in this place, even though we got locked down. But you know why? Because our government was responding and falling into line, even then, even with Trudeau, even during the pandemic. You talk about sovereignty. You're worried about the World Economic Forum and the World Health Organization. Oh, globalists. Well, what the hell do you think you have in the goddamn White House right now? Where's our sovereignty? Where's the control over our destiny? I thought you didn't want to give that up because to the WEF. They're not taking it from you. Newsflash. It's the guy in the White House. I keep trying to tell you. The New World Order, he's got the plan. You know all the trust the plan crap? It's happening. And our friend David's funding it. The bridge? He's not building a bridge, man. Those people are burning it. And if you don't want me talking like this, then you should be appearing on programs like this and being transparent, being honest, bringing truth, balance, reality, not extremism, not a bunch of bullshit, not a Texas is the greatest place on earth, Canada is a shithole, Canada's a communist hellhole. It's not true. Not by a long shot. What Canada, the narratives I'm hearing, Canada is an international hub for money laundering and drug trafficking flowing into the United States. That's the pretext for invasion. It's not true. Those social media influencers help. I'm sorry to say that because some of those people I've met, some of them I know, and I had faith in them too. For whatever reason, they're carrying that message forward, and I know it's not true. But I see what's going on. We're in a lot of danger. Greenland, he's sitting there telling me that the United States is the best place in the world to live. Well, literally, Trump is having his military officers draft up an invasion plan for a NATO ally, which is completely unnecessary because they're friendly anyway. If you want military bases, he could just put them there. It's insane. You think he's not coming for us? We're on the menu. I've been telling you for 3 years, approximately. Like I said, Canada's in play. They're coming. Like somebody wants us. I can't figure it out because whoever would have thought that it would be the guy in the frickin' White House and his minions who have been among us the entire time. People that I've been part of. People, a movement that I thought was real, that I thought was constructive, that was good for my country. In reality, I'm finding out that it's just a big tumor. It's full of cancer. What? And I'm ashamed that at times I've been part of that unwittingly, naively, influenced by emotion. Because we were locked down and because I've always been about freedom, because I'm not some left-wing wacky libtard or far-right fascist socialist authoritarian scumbag. I believe in freedom. So I was appalled. I never protested before. I went out into the streets before I was doing this. I'm out there protesting for the first time in my life and I'm like, how come I have to do this at my freaking age? Government sucks, man. But who am I blaming? I'm blaming Canada. I'm blaming the local police officer who's following orders. I'm blaming the mayor, the police chief. I'm blaming Justin Trudeau. But who was in the White House the whole time? Who could have stopped it all? Who had the power then? The same guy that's in there right now. Who did he blame? China. Were they part of it? Maybe. But he sure as hell was. Definitely. No, he got tricked. He got tricked, Rick. He didn't know. That's why he didn't know that all this stuff and the vaccine thing, and he didn't know. Horse shit. He's against Big Pharma. Well, he's got all the Big Pharma guys lined up behind him. Oh no, that ostrich farm, that's going to save us because they have antibodies. They didn't do anything weird out there. No, that all that COVID research, that didn't happen. It sure as hell did. And there was a lot of weirdness around there, and that was government grants. Their research went all the way back to the goddamn 1990s. Genetic selective breeding studies. You know what that's all about, man, when it really comes down to it? What's the message really from the farm? People are not cluing in. You're not getting it. I mean, everything's freaking upside down. I'm gonna lay it out for you, what it really means. I don't think they get it. They don't believe in vaccines. They don't believe in saving any fucking thing. They want to let it rip. You know what that means? If they're saying, if you, they've been telling you that your government wants to murder you. They want to kill you. They want to destroy your food sovereignty by destroying the farms, which is a load of crap. They're trying to murder us all. They want depopulation. Bullshit. If they wanted that, they would have let my dad die. What they don't, I don't even think the farm realizes what they've been pushing out there. They don't believe in vaccines, period. They don't believe in treating the sick animals. And they're telling you that right now, what they want to do is, they want to kill all the animals, the government. No, what they want to do is they just want to let the disease rip, right? And so that means no mitigation, nothing. They don't want to be subjected to any rules from the government. Just if the birds get sick, just let it go. And then it can spread because you have to have herd immunity. And so the strongest birds will live and they'll breed over time. And then they'll build up immunity, herd immunity to the disease. So you don't need to come up with any way to mitigate them. We don't want to be injecting the birds up here in Canada with vaccines to prevent the spread of things like bird flu because we don't want to eat it, right? So we cull them instead to prevent it from spreading to the next farm. But they don't want to do that. They just want to let it spread to the next farm because they're saying, build up the immune systems. I'm going to get to the horrific part of what that really means by extension. They also don't want you getting your kids vaccinated. I do believe that, the reason I didn't get vaccinated is because Trump put it into Operation Warp Speed and he's like, it's a safe and effective. Just go out and get it. But, we haven't tested it. We'll test it on you. And I'm like, this don't sound like a wise thing. I'm not going to do that. Then you're going to lose your job. He's the man behind it. He's the guy behind Operation Warp Speed. He wanted that thing approved. So he made sure it was approved because he's the president. But you see, on the other side, the people who are out there saying, we don't want your kids you shouldn't vaccinate your kids. It's not healthy. You don't want to do anything to mitigate the spread of disease. Don't stop it. Just let it go. Only the strong survive. You know what that means? They're eugenicists. They don't believe in saving the weak. So when you get sick, they don't really want to help you. They just want to let it rip. You're going to die? Just fucking die. They don't want to pay for it. And more than that, they don't want you to live because you're a weakling. Let the runt die. So if you've got a kid who's sick, why pay for that? Let the kid die. Don't let him breed. Build up a better human race, a robust, superhuman race, all natural. You do that, man. A lot of people are going to die. I know a lot of weak people who still contribute a whole hell of a lot. We had a member of our family here, our Maverick family, remember? Months ago. Came across somebody missing an arm and a leg in the Tim Hortons. And then grossly made a social media video saying he was an immigrant and he didn't want to have to pay for that person. He didn't know that person. Didn't care. And thought he was being a smart guy, an unapologetic conservative. And it made me want to puke. You think, you know, do you see why I would get a little upset with that? You don't just cast people off. You don't just write off the weak. Everybody has something to contribute, man. What they're doing out of that farm is saying, you're weak, we leave you behind. These birds get sick, you just let them rip. You just let them die. Not on their own. And if it spreads to the next farm, screw that guy. His birds are too weak. Let them die too, and let only the strong survive. When they breed, they'll have better immunity. How long is that going to take? What kind of damage does that do? What's that say about the mentality? It's only the strong survive. Let the weak die. Thing is, some of the strongest are the smallest. We all know that here because this community, this family, we're a bunch of misfits. I don't want the money. I don't need it. I've got truth. And I've got you guys. They don't even see it. Because like David, he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to know anything about the history. He doesn't give a damn. He just cares about himself. Well, he's telling you he's going to help you. Bullshit. Be careful. I love my country. I didn't realize how much. But I sure do now. Nevertheless, still love America too. Because I don't know how, somehow though, we're going to get both countries back. So tonight, I'll just leave you with this. Little piece of American muscle. We'd use a little of that right now. Little piece of automotive history. Little piece of Americana. Little black vet. See you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. On the flip side.
Well, she's sitting in the driveway all dressed in black. Got that slick paint, you know she got the knack. Chrome glimmers in the moonlight, like a star on the rise. When I slide behind the wheel, I feel alive. Oh, I can't deny. Got the little black vet, she's my midnight ride. Rolling down the highway with my girl by my side. Fast as a whisper, smooth as a dream. In my little black vet, we're a rock and roll team. Leather seats and a rumble that shakes the ground. With the top down low, we're lost in the sound. That engine growls like a lion's roar. Every mile we take, I just want more. Got the little black vet, she's my midnight ride. Rolling down the highway with my girl by my side. Fast as a whisper, smooth as a dream. In my little black vet, we're a rock and roll team. Oh, the world slows down when we hit that street. The wind in our hair can't beat me. With the guitar laying under the stars so bright. In my little black vet, everything feels right.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.